small businesses simplify e-commerce.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Land out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends that live.
What a beautiful day weather-wise here in Memphis in the Mid-South. The sun is shining. We're ready for 3 hours of scintillating sports talk. Welcome in to Sports 56 Middays, the Thursday, June 11th, 2020 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Family Leisure is here to make staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer. They offer contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickup, so give them a call to schedule an appointment or place an order. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor. We can't thank them enough for being a part of our program each and every day, and that's FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. You can learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Coming up on the program today, we'll talk about the resumption of the NBA season, although some players are really, well, a lot of players are concerned, but there are some players that are really concerned about their health and what it will all be like in a bubble in Disney, and they are making sure their voices are being heard. We'll talk to Steve Kyler, who covers the NBA for Basketball Insiders. That'll come your way at 11:05. At 11:25, Mike Claiborne from the Cardinals Radio Network. We'll check in on Mike on the situation with baseball and the interesting comments made by one baseball commissioner, Rob Manfred, yesterday, which we will discuss. And then at 12:05, Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio and the Aaron Torres podcast on a number of different subjects. We got 2.5 questions on the docket today. And our 5 favorite songs category, songs with the word good in the title. You can go ahead and text that list in whenever you want to the First Bank text line or on the First Bank text line at 67129. If you're watching us live, hello to you guys. You can message us with those lists at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. You can tweet us with whatever you want, but the 5 favorite songs, certainly get those in. We'll do that probably today, I'm guessing around 12:30. And, of course, when we have the open segments, we welcome your phone calls on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. The PGA Tour has resumed round 1 action down in Texas at the Charles Schwab Challenge. And, Eli, I know you got the golf background. You're ready for it. Yesterday, we returned to our 4-man scramble for the first time this year, made our debut for the season, and I remember the immortal words of Jay Hasselman telling me that it's over for Justin Rose, and I was going to pick him third. Justin Rose is tied for the lead early at 4 under par, so his demise has been much exaggerated. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to have golf back. Looking forward to being able to watch some golf today and throughout the weekend, and it certainly is golf weather here in Memphis, which is fantastic. So yeah, got me in the golf spirit. So I got the old shot from TPC Southwind, FedEx St. Jude background today, and what was a beautiful day then when that picture was taken. And I'm telling you right now, this week of weather, if the forecast is correct, the next few days, my goodness, we're in for a treat.
I'm looking forward to playing a little golf today. Yesterday, as I said, during our 4-man scramble, I was going to head over to Edwin Watts, and I did, and I had some clubs re-gripped. But, man, oh, man, I was not the only one with that thought. There were a lot of people in there getting clubs re-gripped and other people that were picking up ball essentials like balls and gloves and things of that nature, looking at clubs. So people are certainly in the spirit. And that's one sport that really hasn't gone away. It has for a while on the tour until the resumption today. But as far as getting out and playing golf, as long as the courses were open, and a lot of them were, people were out there playing golf.
No, the golf business here in town has been amazing throughout because with this, obviously, because it is a sport that people will feel pretty safe to go out and play and can social distance while doing it. But yeah, courses are having their best years ever. I know a lot of the country clubs are filled up as far as members go. Edwin Watts is since they have reopened, have been just absolutely slammed. So it's the golf business has been one that this has not really hurt. It is for these golf courses. It has been very good. Probably last month or so.
Yesterday, there was huge news after we got off the air. Sometime yesterday afternoon came word that NASCAR, just a few days after Bubba Wallace called for the abolishment of the Confederate flag, NASCAR comes out and makes the broad commitment to now banning the Confederate flag from its races and properties because of associations with racism and slavery. The Confederate flag and NASCAR have gone together forever. If you've ever been to a race, you have seen many, many, many Confederate flags. When the people are in the infield, the flags are there with their vehicles that they have brought, their Winnebagos, if you will. I covered NASCAR, or I did cover NASCAR for a long time when I was in Maryland. And again, back then, didn't even think about it, right? It was just there. Stars and stripes, and there was the Confederate flag. And now it's going to be done with by NASCAR. And while it is the absolute right move, and people would say it's about time, that's not an easy move to alienate some of your fan base. Now, hopefully those fans have grown, especially over the last couple of weeks with what's happened, the power of the protest, the power now of this protest in reaction to George Floyd's death. But again, on the surface, yes, needed to happen, should have happened a long time ago. But NASCAR and that flag are associated with each other, and I'll be very curious to see how the fan base reacts. And starting this Sunday, some fans will be allowed at the race at Homestead in Miami. But that is a particular fan base. I think it has to do with maybe the military down in that area. Then there's going to be 5,000 fans allowed at Talladega. Not 180,000 fans, but again, little increments at a time to build up. But where is that fan base going to be when the crowds are back to capacity when it comes to this flag? Because, again, they're not going to be able to bring them in, but are they going to make a stink about it?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen some various things on social media of some people that are upset and all of this. It's a flag, like, really, it just angers you that much that they won't let you fly that flag. That makes some people uncomfortable. Like I don't see why it's such a big deal to some people, but whatever.
And look, it's something that we talked about yesterday after Keith Carter joined us on the program, the Ole Miss athletics director. We're going to have Brad Logan on the program tomorrow. I'm sure we'll dive into this about the flag at sporting events in Mississippi, and how prominent it has been on the Ole Miss campus. And now, of course, it's not, but changes have been happening. More changes are needed. And we'll just see how far things go with the state of Mississippi. But with NASCAR, I think this was a very important decision to make. And again, not just in regards to what Bubba Wallace had to say, the only African-American driver on the Cup circuit, but this is all in response to what has happened, the movement that has happened that has made a difference. Other movements, people have said things in the past. They have screamed at the top of their lungs to no avail. But now it's different. And when NASCAR does what it did in such a short time, more power to NASCAR for making that decision. Then they had the race last night in Martinsville, again in front of no fans. And Bubba Wallace had a very strong showing as he finished 11th. And nearly got Jimmy Johnson there at the end to finish with a top 10. The winner in the race last night was Martin Truex Jr. at Martinsville.
I did not realize when I was reading about that I think it was in 2015 that they tried to ban the Confederate flag. But I guess the outcry of fans made them decide not to do that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they had tried before. But no question about it. 2 months ago, the backlash you would have heard. This is a difference maker. Yes, there have been tragic deaths before, and some certainly you question whether or not excessive force was used. Some you think excessive force was used, but we talked about this before. Maybe there just wasn't enough proof. This is such a no-brainer that it's changed society. It is going to make the difference in changing a lot of different things. And hopefully, most importantly, it will change the mindset of a lot of people. But again, this is big. This was big. Some people will take it like a grain of salt that this wasn't, it should have happened already. That's not the point. The point is that it's hard to differentiate the sport of NASCAR and the Confederate flag. And now it has been ripped away, rightly so. So more power to NASCAR for doing what they did.
And I know some people will claim that this is a violation of their freedom of speech or whatever. It is not. NASCAR can make its own rules at its events, and if you don't like it, you don't have to go to their events. But they can make rules of what you can have at their events. They're a private entity.
Yeah, we'll see if there's going to be, once again, when we get back to having a lot of fans. Having 5,000 fans is one thing. Having 150,000 fans is another thing. We'll see if there's this mass reduction in the fan base. We know that NASCAR have been losing fans over the years, a little bit at a time. That had nothing to do with politics. That was just maybe the economy, moving on to something else. But if there's all of a sudden the return of fans, it's hard to judge now because you have also the COVID-19, which is going to scare a lot of people away from going to live events. So the proof won't be in the pudding for probably a couple of years, assuming that we get back eventually to full capacity, that you could really measure whether or not this has had an impact. And the outcry of people. We had a driver who I know NASCAR fairly well. I never heard of this guy. Part-time driver. Cicarelli, and he said that he is now he's done with racing anymore. And he said it has nothing to do with really the Confederate flag and the South and all that. He's just talking about the freedom, people. That why are you doing this? So that's what he's saying. I don't know about that, but again, this is an insignificant name in the world of NASCAR. It's a lot different if all of a sudden Jimmy Johnson takes a stance today and says, this is the wrong move. It's sending the wrong message. Then it would be the lead story on every sports show, television, radio, podcast, and things of that nature. But this is a guy who's not even significant in the sport.
He's literally never done anything of any consequence.
Right.
So great. Your career probably wasn't going to be going much longer anyway. So, good on you, I guess. If you want to quit because of this, by all means, go right ahead. I'm not sure anybody's going to even notice.
So yesterday, I was very interested in reading the story about Zion Williamson, and we know about the lawsuits that are happening with Zion Williamson. But there was a story that came down on the Big Lead, thebiglead.com, written by Ryan Phillips. And there's more information to this Zion Williamson story. And I wanted to get into that a little bit here in our first segment. So Zion Williamson, as most people know, has this legal battle going on with Gina Ford. That's his former marketing agent. Ford has accused Williamson of a litany of things, including accepting illicit benefits from Adidas, Nike, and Duke. And that's the one I really care about, Duke, before attending college. On Wednesday, Ford's attorney dropped a bit of a bombshell, and I'm reading straight from the story, on Williamson's team by pointing out how his family's living situation dramatically improved while he played at Duke. Williamson initially sued Prime Sports Marketing, that's Ford's company, to terminate his contract because the group wasn't officially recognized by the NBA Players Association. Ford then sued Williamson for breaking his 5-year contract with her. She's seeking $100 million in compensation. On Wednesday, Ford's attorneys, they ramped up their attacks by shining light on Williamson's family's living situation. Before Zion went to Duke, his parents were living in an $895 monthly rental in South Carolina. After he enrolled, they lived in a property which was valued at approximately $950,000 and for which the monthly rent was listed at $4,995. Ford's lawyers also pointed out Williamson's family has 3 luxury cars registered to them: a 2018 Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, a 2016 GMC Yukon, and a 2015 Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, this whole situation is it's just going to be interesting where the courts go and what there's been various battles as to what basically what question Zion is going to have to answer here is going to be the big part of this whole deal, and whether he has to under oath answer things and about where what went on at Duke or things that he may have gotten from Duke. So it's good. I'm sure that Zion's people at some point here, if it gets to that point, are going to look to settle as soon as possible, so that he doesn't have to answer any of these questions.
On the surface, without knowing all the details, and again, it's he said, she said, don't you believe that she's in the right? She had a contract. He severed the contract because it's not, again, affiliated with the NBA. And now all of a sudden he goes to, the big agency, millions and millions and millions of dollars to be had. I would do the same thing she's doing.
Well, I mean, again, it's she broke rules in when she talked to and did this stuff, but so she has to try and prove basically that her thing is that she's trying to prove that he was not an eligible college player because he took benefits. So that would, and if he was not technically an eligible college player at that time, it doesn't matter when she talked to him.
Semantics. I mean, that's what we're looking at. Bottom line is they had a signed deal. Severed the ties. We'll see how the courts look at it. If it goes to the court, as you said, they're going to probably look to settle some undisclosed amount of money, which will be a lot of money for her. But she's not slowing down. And right there, just shedding light on what we already know. I mean, people aren't naive. And it seemed like the family right there, unless all of a sudden they hit the lottery or came into some other money, I'm not saying they flaunted it, but they quickly knew what to do with that money.
Yeah, I mean, I
spend.
I believe they probably did hit a lottery of sorts.
And their gigantic kid named Zion.
Yes, I mean it's they have a child who is really good at basketball, and so that's in some ways they did hit the lottery about 20 years ago or so.
By the way, the switching gears here to the NBA. And I'm reading a story right now. It's actually a tweet about a story that reporters covering the shortened NBA seasons may be trapped at Disney World for 3.5 months. They could be there for the duration, obviously, if they're covering it all the way through. But that would be the same as a team that reaches the finals, that could be there all the way until October. I still have a problem believing that. Okay, the story that came out the other day was that there would be like a couple family members or people that are close to the players allowed with them. And it said there will be exceptions. And I tweeted out, yeah, the superstars. If LeBron wants to bring 5 people, he's bringing 5 people. And the chances, and they said, well, if they go off to Disney World or Epcot or one of the attractions there, then there's going to be a big issue. Pfft, come on, man. You think a family that's with their father, with their husband, and are there for 2 months or more is going to sit in that little resort and not do anything? That's BS. There's no way that's happening. No way. What, are you going to guard them? You're going to have security out in front of every door? You're going to have bed checks? There's no way. When the wife says, I'm bringing my son or my daughter over to Animal Kingdom, it's happening. I'm sorry. There's going to be breaches in this. And as far as the reporters are concerned, it's going to be very, very limited. And if that's what your job is, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's basically going to be there's from what I was reading, there's two levels for the media. There's going to be a level that is allowed in and out, but they cannot have any contact with the players, basically. And then there's, I guess, the others that if you are willing to go ahead and lock yourself in there and be part of the bubble for that long, if you're that dedicated and need to do that for your job, I guess, and I don't know how many they'll be willing to allow to do that. I don't know how many will be willing to do it to begin with. Then you'll be able to have some contact with the players and things like that. But they say they will be tested every single night, just like the players.
There are players, though, that are still very concerned. We will talk about that when we return. And Rob Manfred telling Carl Ravitch that unequivocally there will be a Major League Baseball season this year. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Family Leisure's here to make staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer. Complete pool packages starting at $15.99. 24-foot pools only $19.99. 4-person spas starting at $19.99. Swim spas starting at under $10,000. We are offering contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickup. Give us a call to schedule an appointment or to place an order. Stay safe with Family Leisure.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Let me drop it on the one. It's the Fat Mac. Dope like an
Welcome back to the program. 10:26 is the time. If you want to be a part of the conversation, we do have First Bank open lines available to you at 360-8255, talking some NBA. Steve Kyler, speaking of the NBA, will join us at 11:05 from Basketball Insiders, and then we'll get into Major League Baseball. But Woj had the story yesterday that a faction of NBA players, they had a conference call because of their real concern about doing this thing. And I think the NBA has made precautions with the teams about whether or not a player, how much flack would the player get with the contractual obligations and things of that nature if they decide that it's just too much of a risk to play. So they're dealing with all that. I don't know if we'll end up having players that decide not to go, but it's certainly concerning right now to some players.
Yeah, and I think there's a pretty decent chance that we could have at least, one or two or maybe even more that say that, it's just not worth it to me. Obviously, if there's some, with some underlying reason that they could be more susceptible to it or whatever, that certainly would be understandable. But players that may just not want to do it for fear of bringing it back after the season's done to family or somebody maybe elderly in their family or whatever. And obviously, if they're getting tested every single night, and that's the league's doing everything they possibly can to try and make sure that they keep the bubble clean and safe for everybody. But yeah, I could understand maybe there being a player or two out there that say, it's just not worth it for me, and deciding not to go, especially some of these teams that are at least a long shot at best to try and make the postseason or whatever. Are those 8 games that really that important to you?
That's a lot of tests, and it's a very intrusive test unless they have figured out another way, as opposed to just sticking that swab up near your brain. And then you have all the officials that need to be tested on a daily basis, and they got to stay within the bubble. And anybody else that's statisticians and people that they're going to have, plus security and medical personnel. There's a lot of people that are involved. That's an awful lot of tests. Woj said there were 40 or 50 players on the conference call, and there has been no formal petitioning to the NBA Players Association from any group wanting out of the 22-team resumption. He said players have started to come to terms with the restrictive and isolated nature of the Orlando bubble, including no visitors until after the first round of the playoffs, nearly 7 weeks after the opening of mid-July training camp. There have been increased dialogue about the prudence of restarting the season for a number of players, especially those on non-championship contenders.
Yeah, again, if you're on the Phoenix Suns, your chances of making the playoffs at all are slim to none. So, are those? Obviously, the idea of getting paid for the 8 games versus not getting paid will be a motivation enough for some. But if you're thinking we're not making the playoffs, so is it really that important for me to go play these final 8 games and then come home after, and put myself and my family in that situation where I could go down there and contract it?
In reality, is how important is it for anybody if there's the chance of getting ill, getting sick? Yeah, you want to win a championship. There's no question about it. And for those who play for, let's say, the Lakers or the Bucks, it's a little bit more of a possibility than it is for the Suns. But there are a lot of players in this league where money is not an object right now. It's not an issue. The health is more important. So what are you willing to do? And this only becomes a major story if a major player, a superstar, decides to pack it in and not want to play. That becomes a major story. But I don't think it's going to be a problem if there is a player or two, or even a few more than that don't want to play. I don't think they're not going to be punished by the league or punished by the team. These are circumstances that we have never seen before. I still think it's all positive to be able to resume play. so we can have something to enjoy from a selfish standpoint, but also for these players to do what they do for a living. But in the end, I mean, this whole sports season, I'm sorry, there's a big old asterisk. You win this championship, again, you won the championship. You're going to get rings. I understand that. But there's nothing that we've ever seen like before. So every single thing that happens, there's going to be always that. Oh, yeah, it was in 2020 when they played 70 games or baseball played 60 games or whatever the case may be. Speaking of baseball, making that segue, Rob Manfred and Carl Ravitch yesterday. Carl asking Rob Manfred, I think he said either the percentage that we play or how likely will there be a season, something like that. And he said, this is Manfred, I'll tell you unequivocally, we will play Major League Baseball this season. Major League Baseball is expected to make a counter proposal to the players' latest offer. They're still off the mark. The sides are still far apart, but baseball is going to come closer and closer to the players and what they want. But how about Manfred making that statement? Not, there's a good chance we're going to play. I feel like we're going to play. He said, absolutely, we're playing.
Well, I mean, he has the power to be able to basically act unilaterally and make a season.
Really?
Yes.
And then then it would be up to the players to strike?
They have, I mean, in their original, I think it's in the March agreement that they made originally, I think that he could act if, and I think it's a 48-game schedule, and I think the players would get their full prorated salary. I believe is what the agreement is, that he can basically just, if they can't, as he said, he's hoping that they can come to terms and figure this out so it works. But if it came to it, he has that power from that original agreement, I believe it is, to be able to do it. I think it's a 48-game schedule.
Yeah, it gets to that point, then there's still going to be even more animosity between the two. I mean, there's more division.
The problem is the fact that if they can't figure this out and come to an agreement, and he has to do that, then you come to, I mean, after next season, when the collective bargaining agreement is up, what are the chances they're going to be able to figure that darn thing out? If they can't even figure this out, I don't have a whole lot of hopes of them being able to figure out a new collective bargaining agreement after next season.
We both agree that it would be a killer for Major League Baseball not to have a season. But even if they have a season, as slow as they're moving right now, when would it even start? And then you start to consider, who really cares about watching baseball when you have the NBA resuming, the NFL starting, college football starting, other major events, whether it be from the golf world or horse racing or tennis that are happening at the same time? I know baseball has its postseason in the fall and is going directly against football, but now it would be a whole different ballgame, because there's going to be so many, assuming again that we're going to have all this happening, resuming, and playing games, so many choices that, baseball has really put themselves in a bad position, even if they have an abbreviated season. But there's no question that not having a season is a lot worse than having a 48-game season.
Yeah, according to reports, I guess they say that number would be 48 games. As Manfred said yesterday in that thing, I would prefer to negotiate a new agreement with the Players Association that gets us more games and resolves the issues that have separated us. But at the end of the day, we negotiated for the right in March to start the season on a number of games that we select in these particular circumstances, and if we have to, we'll exercise that right.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
The one thing that the players in that situation have is they have the ability to say no to the expanded playoffs. If it came to that, if he does that and he tried to do the expanded playoffs, the players do have the ability to say no to that.
The Major League Baseball amateur draft, the first round was last night. There's only going to be 5 rounds. There's normally, 280 rounds?
I think it's normally, is it 40?
50 is what I'm.
50. I can't.
used to.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know it's a lot.
And again, what's the reasoning why they cut down and substantially cut down the length of the draft? Do you know?
There's a sort of a lot of different. They're cutting out a lot of minor league teams, so they're not going to have as much space. And then also the coronavirus deal. I don't know if their pool of money was big enough to be able to sign all the. If there's 45 players that they have to sign.
Yeah, from a financial situation. Yeah, so they only have the 5 rounds. I think I'm not sure exactly where the first high school kid went, around 6th or 7th, but they said that's the lowest it's been in years and years because, again, no senior seasons or limited senior seasons. There wasn't a lot to choose from as far as the high schools are concerned because they really had to bank everything on what they did the prior year, the junior year for those players. They had more tape and more information on the college kids that played the 3 years.
Yeah, there were 13 high school players selected out of the 37 that went yesterday. SEC had 9 players taken yesterday as they continue to dominate baseball as well. But, yeah, I mean, obviously you're trying to project a high school kid, based off what he did, probably as a 16 or 17-year-old. I mean, and so it's difficult without them getting a senior season to be able to do that. Now, a lot of them play, or maybe I don't know if in any of these states they had any sort of summer ball that had gotten started at all or anything like that. But yeah, it's not easy trying to project on those. But and they were though. I didn't see anything of any of the picks last night. Was there any reports that any of these were any of these teams, as they said, punting on the draft?
Nothing I heard. I know the Astros didn't have a pick in the first round because of the punishment.
Yeah,
I spoke wrong. Eli was right. It's 40 rounds. 40 rounds normally.
40 rounds, but 40 rounds to 5. That is a significant drop. But you brought up why, and it makes an awful lot of sense. I didn't even think about from the financial situation because you'd have to then sign these kids, as well as where's the placement going. We're just not having minor league baseball this year.
Did y'all actually catch it on ESPN? Did y'all watch any of it?
No, I just saw the results.
I have to say I tried. Rob is substantially worse than Roger Goodell. I mean, substantially. It's not even close.
He wasn't hanging out in his basement.
It took robotic to a new, there's a new definition for that now.
He didn't have a bowl of peanut M&Ms or whatever that was, Skittles, whatever the heck.
He is not. He's not Mr. Personality. That is for sure. But it's interesting that two Louisville pitchers went last night in that first round, and there were two pitchers that I got to call the games when they played against Ole Miss this year. I mean, they're obviously their number 1 and 2 starters. The Reed Detmers kid is who went, I think, 10th overall. That dude is he was ridiculously good.
How many from Ole Miss in the first round?
None from Ole Miss last night, no.
Who's expected to go in the next 4 rounds?
I don't know for sure on who they'll have as far as these 5-round draft. I'm not sure because most of their pitching is young, is not draft eligible, and the position players. Anthony Servideo was having a fantastic year, but I think he's already said that he was going to be coming back. So I don't know that if a team would even draft him, and I don't know that he would have been a top 5-round pick anyway.
So does that mean for the guys who don't get drafted in this 5-round draft will more than likely come back for that senior season or will sign as a free agent somewhere?
I think most of them will come back for that. If you were a senior, you'll come back for that extra year that they were given, or obviously if you weren't a senior, just you'll be back. But I would guess that it will be that most of them will come back because of the money situation for these teams. I mean, the free you're not going to if you're undrafted, you're not going to get much anything really.
What is the rule? Because it's 3 years, right, out of high school. So if you went, you could been you had to be a junior, right?
You can.
There's nobody under junior status.
You could be a 2-year guy if you reach a certain age by the time the draft happens. If you went to junior college, you could come straight out of junior college after 2 years into the draft. I mean, so there are a couple but generally, if you didn't go straight out of high school and go to college, yes, for the most, pretty much everybody has to be 3 years. But again, there was, and I can't think of his name, the pitcher from Ole Miss last year. He was only a sophomore, but he had reached a certain age that allowed him to be draft eligible as a 2-year guy.
All right, when we come back, 2.5 questions, and this is interesting. I was reading a tweet from our friend David Cobb. He just retweeted something he saw. Lindy's magazines, the magazines are out for college football, and an interesting comment made as they previewed Memphis about head coach Ryan Silverfield. We'll talk about that when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
Check out Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
Hi, it's the Herd. 66% of dudes start to lose their hair by the age of 35. Start noticing thinning hair? Probably too late. Lucky for you, it's 2020. Medicine and science can help you do something about it. Hims basically helps guys be the best version of themselves. FDA-approved products. The best part? You don't have to meet with a doctor in person. Couple of questions online, 4 or 5. A licensed physician reviews it and determines if a prescription's right for you. I recommend it. Check them out before it's too late. My listeners can get started. First month free. How's that? Go to 4hims.com/Colin. Prescriptions do require an online consultation. Doesn't take very long. A physician's there, man or woman, determines if this prescription is appropriate for you. Most will be. Offer valid only if prescribed. 3-month minimum subscription. Additional restrictions do apply. Check out the website. It's got all the details and all the safety information. Check it out, guys. FDA-approved products. 4hims.com/COLIN.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Commitment. Dedication. Perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength. What we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:45 is the time. Got 2.5 questions coming up in just a moment. Steve Kyler from Basketball Insiders at 11:05. Mike Claiborne at 11:25 from the Cardinals Radio Network. Aaron Torres scheduled to join us at 12:05 from Fox Sports Radio. And then at 12:30 or thereabouts, we'll have our 5 favorite songs. I was looking at this tweet from our friend David Cobb. And again, it's something he saw, and he took a photo of it, and he tweeted it out. And he said, this is quite a take on Ryan Silverfield in the Lindy's College Football Preview magazine. Phil Steele, Lindy's, two of the big ones that people pay attention to. So it says, Memphis, out Mike Norvell, in Ryan Silverfield, grade 6.5. Memphis stayed in-house by elevating Silverfield, Norvell's offensive line coach. Good continuity here, but let's not kid ourselves. Silverfield can pledge loyalty all he wants. He was in Memphis only because he left the Detroit Lions after less than a month on the job in December of 2015. Really? Out of everything, that's what you get out of Ryan Silverfield? That's your take going into this season? Like that is going to have an effect on these players that he's recruited and he's coached? Gabe Kuhn, please dive in.
Don't bring the Detroit Lions example. One, he was an assistant coach.
5 years ago.
Two, it was when Caldwell got fired. So it's like, what do you mean? It's not really fair to hold him to that when you talk about the NFL's job security. It's very low. If you lose, you're gone. And he was an interim there. I don't get that. I mean, I really don't. And if you want to say that he bounced around the NFL, maybe I'll give you that. I understand that. But that's just sort of how the NFL operates. But if you want to pick one job and say, oh, he was only there for a year, I think that's pretty ridiculous.
But that makes you unloyal?
That's pretty ridiculous.
Because you left Detroit in a short time?
And you're not considering the circumstance at all when you say that.
Eli?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand, like, why that would be anything that you would even bring up. That one is beyond me why that is a thing at all.
Yeah, how about maybe something about the Memphis offensive numbers over the last 5 or 6 years? Maybe Brady White's numbers from last year, Kenneth Gainwell, something like that? No, about the disloyalty apparently by Ryan Silverfield. Absolutely crazy. Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions, why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fuck say?
All right, this one I stole from Pro Football Talk. They were talking yesterday about the original NFL triplets. And in their opinion, it was Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman with your Cowboys.
That is true.
So what team has the best trio of offensive players today using a quarterback, wide receiver, and running back? And Gabe, if you got some examples, you could help out Eli. I'm kind of putting him on the spot here without having done any research. But the best offensive triplets today on an NFL team.
All right. Saints pretty good. Let's see here.
Breeze. Then you have Kamara, and you have Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Let's see here.
I wish the Vikings didn't have Kirk Cousins. Then I could definitely bring that one up. Well, it was Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's Adam Thielen now.
Yeah, Adam Thielen.
And
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. So
that's certainly not bad.
Yeah, but then you're comparing it to the original triplets. It's like
not
pales
even
in
close.
comparison.
I mean, the Cowboys, depending on your feeling on Dak Prescott, you've got Dak, Zeke, and Amari Cooper.
Raider Corey says, how about the Falcons with Ryan, Julio, and I'm assuming Gurley now? Gurley passed his physical.
If Gurley,
let's wait on Gurley and Ryan to see next year what that looks like.
Man,
I know it's really tough.
Kansas City doesn't really have the running back.
Right.
Seattle doesn't have the running back. Tampa doesn't have a running back. They got multiple wide receivers, but they don't have the running back.
It's not San Francisco. It's not
Green
the
Bay
Rams.
doesn't have the running back that you would. The Giants don't have
the
quarterback or receiver, or they got the running. They got only the running back.
And there is none, right? I mean, Sam Darnold is still not there yet, so you can't put Darnold in there. They got Le'Veon Bell. I don't know who the receiver is, like who that standout receiver is. It was so obvious with the Cowboys, with Irvin Smith and Aikman. Maybe there isn't one. Saints probably the closest one, and that was your first thought.
Cleveland, depending on what you think of Baker Mayfield.
I was going to mention that one.
OBJ,
they got talent.
OBJ, who wasn't great last year, but of course has been a superstar in the league. And Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Again, Chubb's getting there. All right.
I mean, Chubb had a
big year.
Really good year.
Yeah, but it's not like he's been established for all these years like Emmett. It's a tough one. It's a tough question. They brought it up. If something else comes to mind, if you want to text in, folks, you can at 67129. The big three, the triplets, is there one in the NFL today like there was with the Cowboys with Irvin Smith and Aikman? I
mean, somebody texted in with Green Bay, but again, I mean, there's no running back in Green Bay that you would go, oh, yeah.
Right.
Like, Aaron Jones is a fine running back. I mean, but like he's not. He wouldn't be. He's certainly not one of the. When you think of the best running backs in the league, you're to go a long way down your list before you get to Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and if it doesn't roll off your tongue, it's probably not the big three. I mean, those names should be like boom, right? You know it automatically.
Well, this is a tough one though, with like where we are with running backs in the league now. Like the running backs are so devalued.
Yeah, there's only a few running backs who really like jump out at you. It's the Saquons, it's Zeke, it's Leonard Fournette, I guess, would be kind of in that group.
Yeah, they don't even want him anymore in Jacksonville. But you're right. I mean, but you go back in time, like the 49ers, you go Montana, Rice, and Roger Craig. And you can do that for a lot of teams.
I mean, for me, I would say the best set in the league right now would be New Orleans.
Okay. Question 2. Other than a full-blown outbreak of COVID-19, what are the 3 biggest concerns that the NBA should have about resuming the season in a bubble at Disney?
And COVID's not part. You can taking COVID out of it altogether.
Yeah, other than just saying, well, a full blown outbreak. What are 3 things that they worry about? No, it can be associated with COVID-19, but I'm not talking about just like, hey, another big giant outbreak.
Oh well, I mean, then the number one is that a superstar comes down with it. Okay. LeBron or Greek Freak, one of the superstars on one of the really good teams tests positive, and that and has to go out for 2 weeks, and that team gets eliminated.
That's a good one.
Namely, LeBron. It's mainly LeBron. Like if LeBron went out and the Lakers lost in the first round of the playoffs or something, the league's not going to like that very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there concerns about security, whether the players will live up to what they're expected to do, and that's kind of stay there and not do anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I think these players are. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of players trying to sneak out and do things. I think they understand, like, this is like, I don't want to go out there and possibly pick up COVID-19 and be out for 2 weeks.
Do you worry about the amounts of testing that they say will be available or anything like that?
I mean, if they believe they've got enough tests to do it, I have no reason to doubt them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my thing, to me, it's almost not knowing exactly the scheduling yet, but just the load on the players, I guess, kind of, and maybe some guys get hurt because of that. And again, it goes down to if you start losing superstars.
Okay, that's 2.
Other than that,
is there any logistical issues with broadcasting or anything like that? Or
you would think they would have that all figured out. I mean, I guess if one of the NBA, like you're the NBA finals and have they said for that, like the local broadcast we assume will not be there, but for like, do we know for like the finals, like the national broadcast, what they're going to be doing?
No.
I mean obviously, if you had something go wrong with in a finals game, like say if the broadcasters aren't on site and like you have some situation where the broadcast gets screwed up because of that, like in an NBA finals game.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder what's going to happen in the fall with local broadcasts of games and things of that nature when there's not a studio and games aren't all televised. Like, for example, what's going to happen with us, with Memphis and the broadcasts? Is the radio crew going to be allowed or not? So there's a lot of questions. But with the NBA, we know that they're going to be Pete and Brevin and Fish. They're going to be in the studio calling the games. They're not going to be down in Orlando. All right, final question. You have to spend 3 months in the bubble, right? But you can do so with 3 historical figures. Now, they can't be from the world of sports. So 3 historical figures that you're going to hang with for 3 months in the bubble. Who are they?
Goodness.
They could be from the past, right? So I'm not talking about people that are just alive today. 3 people from the past, from the
and it's not
present.
It can't be sports?
Not sports. You're hanging with 3. And don't give me like the 3 most beautiful women in the world.
Okay, well.
That's a cop-out.
Well, that's all right.
That's an easy answer for us.
Tough golly.
Scratch.
Red-blooded males.
You
can pick one if you want. I'll let you have one.
Greg is still the toughest teacher on earth.
No kidding, man.
Hard grader.
I got to make it a little bit harder. And, I got 10 in rows got to be a little bit tougher. We don't want it every time on the first shot, but try to make it too hard. It's not too hard. Got a bevy of people to choose from.
I'm trying to. I can't figure out what kind of direction I want to go to. Am I looking for people that are going to be like funny and entertaining? Am I looking for maybe I could use this as an educational time to learn more about things?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't go the beautiful women route.
But
Greg.
You can go one.
But you can't go the beautiful.
I can't go the beautiful women route.
I mean, you want to pick somebody's brain, man. That's
do I want like a musical artist who can entertain me? All right, I'm going to go. This will be
somehow Ron White's going to end up with you for 3 months.
I'm going to go very eclectic. This is going to be this is a little bit weird group.
Okay.
And I probably need to put more thought in this. I'm going to go Prince, Eddie Murphy, and Ben Franklin.
Oh, gosh. Ben's going to be the life of the party. Ben doesn't go anywhere where there's not women, though.
Ben, I mean, I just want to. I got to be able to pick Ben Franklin's brain. Like I just Ben Franklin is still like the most captivating person ever. Like the stuff that he did, I just want to get inside that brain for a little while.
I think Prince and Ben Franklin would get along real well.
Prince is going to be. I just have Prince singing, entertaining, and then Eddie Murphy's just funny.
Eddie Murphy can be singing and entertaining.
Well, yeah, Eddie Murphy. If my girl wants to party all the time, he can get in there and sing a little bit with Prince. But Eddie Murphy's going to make me laugh. Like you're gonna need some humor in this whole time.
It is not bad at all. You're 3. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Later on, maybe we'll revisit this topic.
Then I'm going to sneak J-Lo in here.
No, it's not happening.
Ben Franklin will be sneaking in women all the time. It's fun.
We're going to sneak in Steve Kyler when we come back, talk some NBA. Hour 2 on the way. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Great news, sports fans! The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of hand-cut fresh steaks, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Father's Day is coming soon, so make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Hi, it's the Herd. Start your day with M-Drive Start. It's the world's best morning shake. New from the guys at M-Drive. Start is packed with elite-level nutrition and protein. Fires up your body, gives you the lean look we're looking for. Shirts coming off in the summer. M-Drive Start has an industry-best 7 clinically tested ingredients and 6 sources of protein to support energy, recovery, and lean muscle. It also includes digestive enzymes, collagen, vitamins. The list goes on. No other morning shake touches this formula. Get elite-level nutrition and protein so you feel great in the morning. Check it out at mdrivestart.com. You wake up looking for energy, you've got your product. And as part of the launch, the guys at M-Drive are offering 25% off if you sign up for their easy-to-manage subscribe and save. So go to mdrivestart.com, try it yourself. Elite-level nutrition. M-Drive Start.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
Our great Gaston and Eli Savoie.
we're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:05 is the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And, of course, Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, that's FedEx. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. As promised, time to talk to Steve Kyler, who covers the NBA and basketball for Basketball Insiders. You can follow him on Twitter at Steve Kyler NBA. He joins us now on Middays. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Fellas, I'm well. How about you?
Hanging in there. We're getting closer and closer to the resumption of the NBA season, so we're pretty excited about that. It's been a long 3 months for everybody, but there is certainly the concern, Steve, as you know, of some of the players, and I saw the stories out there yesterday. Do you think there's a good chance, a small chance, or a great chance that we could have some players that are part of that 22 teams that will be heading to Orlando that will not participate?
It's possible, and I think what we're hearing from the Players Association is they want to understand what happens. And, I think fans have been asking this question is, well, what happens if player X doesn't feel safe or doesn't want to play, or are they going to be made to? Is their contract going to get voided? And really what the NBA and to a certain extent, I think more importantly, the Players Association wants to understand if you don't want to be there, look, this isn't normal. This isn't, we're not lit, and this is serious. Like, we've had players who've gotten this, that have gone through it, and we've had a player who's lost family members and certainly, secondary family members and things to this. So it's real. This isn't, something trivial. And I think it's great that we're having this discussion, because if you don't want to be there, you shouldn't have to be there.
Right.
But again, I think there's bigger things, right? If LeBron says, I don't want to be there, what happens to the Lakers? If Ja Morant says, I don't want to be there, what happens to the Memphis Grizzlies? So, the truth of it is, I think there's more discussion, but it starts with, okay, can they choose on their own, yes or no? Okay, then who wants in, who wants out? And the ones that want out, how do we replace them? And that's kind of the next part of this discussion, is not only how do we replace players that feel at risk. And I mean, there are a couple of players, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Larry Nance Jr. has Crohn's disease, and he is on immune-compromising medicine that basically makes him susceptible to pretty much everything. The Cavs aren't coming, but how could you ask that guy to come to a situation where he could potentially die? So that's a real thing, and I think that it's great that they're looking at it. I don't think it's going to be as many players as being reported, that there are 25 or 30 players. Most of the players I know and have spoken to are ready to get back to work for a lot of reasons. They want the money, they want to finish their season, they want the chance to win. But if you're outside, way outside looking in, then there's a reality. Do you want to risk your family? Do you want to risk your life for games that don't necessarily matter to you? And that's real.
The big question I still have is what, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but what happens if 4 or 5 guys on one team test positive? What the playoffs start and there's suddenly one of the teams has 5 guys out for 2 weeks. What are they going to do then?
Well, again, I kind of go back to the real world, right? If 5 guys run into each other under the basket, break their arms, what happens? They don't play. They don't. It's going to be treated the same way. If you roll your ankle, you tear your ACL, you contract COVID, you're not going to play. And the way they're going to do this, I think, is helpful in this way. One, everybody's going to be quarantined for a considerable amount of time before they're even allowed to come together for training camp. So before they come in the building, they're clear. They're going to limit contact points as much as humanly possible, masks and all the social distancing things, limit the number of people who can touch them. So that will help. They're going to test them every night, and that night they will know results because they're contracting a lab to be on site to do these tests. And if you are flagged, you're going to be pulled out and given 2 days and tested again. So if there's the potential for a false positive, we'll find that out. But again, they're going to try to do all of these things. But there's no question that 2 guys get off the reservation and infect their team, that could be the end of your season. So there's a new variable beyond just kind of your normal injury that says, how seriously are the players going to take these precautions? And you guys know as well as I do, a lot of these guys are 20-something guys that enjoy being famous and wealthy and all the things that come with that. And, how are they going to handle being locked into Coronado Springs Resort in Disney for 2 months?
Right.
So, I couldn't be there. I love Disney. There's just only so much Disney you can take. So, 3 months of it, these guys are going to be going out of their mind. So it's going to be on the NBA to be creative about finding ways to keep these guys at least entertained, at least keep them focused on what's in front of them. But the one thing I'll say, too, is I talked to some players who really understand what's at stake all the way around. Like, if we don't do this, we're blowing up the collective bargaining agreement. If we don't do this, we may blow up both TV deals with ESPN and Turner, which means the Golden Goose will be dead. And anybody who has a current contract will see it torn up and renegotiated. So no one wants that. So you just start to see the nuclear option of saying no versus the can I control myself for 3 months and maybe get through this and keep as much of the economic system intact as possible.
I saw this, I guess, a week or two ago when the proposal it came out, maybe a week ago, and I'm not sure if it was legitimate, Steve, but it talked about having a couple of people from your inner family that could come with you and stay with you while you're down in the Disney resort. And then it said there are some other exceptions. So, one, is that what it's going to be like? Two, what are the exceptions? And how do you keep a family, let's say it's the wife of a player and his kid, that they're going to sit there and be bubbled up for 3 months and not go over to one of the attractions right there at the resort?
Yeah, and that's part of it. So the current plan, as I understand it, is family, up to 3 family members would be allowed to join players after the first round of the playoffs because they just don't want that many people there. After the first round of the playoffs, we're going to be down to basically, 16 teams that are playing, not 32. So, that'll help. But that's the other part is is your spouse and your child going to agree to all the things you have to agree to? Because if you leave the bubble, you're out for 10 days. You are out for 10 days. You have to go through 2 consecutive tests. They've made that very, very clear. So that's a real conversation I think every player is going to have with their family about how much access do you want to have to me, and are you willing to follow these rules? And if you don't think you can, then you got to stay home. The beautiful thing about NBA guys is, they make a lot of money and their family lives are, they're not struggling like the, 30-something million people who don't have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's a human part to this. And I think we lose that sometimes in our analysis is that these guys are people and it is going to feel like they were in prison. A really nice prison. It's going to feel like prison because you can't do the things you want to do. And, sometimes you need to go home and vent about the bad day at the office. Sometimes you need to go home and hug your kids if you didn't do what you wanted to do today. And especially if you're an NBA player that's away from your family so much, you don't want to lose those moments. So that's where I say the human condition in all of this is kind of the understated. And then who's going to respond well to that, right? Does LeBron play his best basketball or his worst basketball because he can't live the life away from the game he wants to live for those 3 months? So this is going to be work days. I've talked to some people about it. I'm like, how are you viewing this? It's like it's a 3-month business trip, and I've got a job to do, and I'm going to go do it. And if more players focus that way, I think this thing will go well. But I do think that's going to be different. We're always, home court advantage. Are the refs on our side? Do the fans, now you got to factor in, can you be mentally tough enough for 90 days to be your best version of yourself when you don't have home court, when you do have potentially a cotton ball shoved up your nose every day? That's the thing. It's like, how are they testing? Are they doing the swab the back of your brain thing every day? Can you imagine by week 3 how scared you're going to be about that dude coming at you with a swab again?
Right.
So,
exactly.
There's just realities to this that I don't think any of us, as we're thinking about what it looks like, the thing I would go is because there's an opportunity for select members of the media to be in the bubble. If your outlet will cover all of your expenses, you can apply to be in the bubble. And my wife said, is that something you do? And I was like, they're not sticking a Q-tip up my nose every day for 90 days. I don't care what it is.
That's a form of torture and warfare, I believe.
Exactly. Isn't that against the Geneva Convention or something?
Steve, what do you think of the plan they ended up coming up with as far as how they will do this with the 22 teams, with the possible play-in for the 8 seed? What do you think of this plan that they're going to do?
Well, again, I go back to this isn't normal, right? This isn't ideal. Nobody wanted this. This is bad. It's bad all the way around. So how can we create a version of bad that works, right? So this is a version of bad that works. Could we get all 30 teams in? There's just a number there, right? How many games do we really need to make up for our TV partners, the local TV partners? And that's the unsaid part of this, is most teams owe anywhere from 5 to 8 local games to their local TV partner. And if they don't make good on it this year, one, the local partner can tear up the contract, or they can apply it to next year, which then makes next year's problem worse. So you got to figure that out. And then you had some teams that just really didn't feel like they needed it, like the Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks. They didn't want to come back together and play games. Their season's over. They're focused on the draft and the future. So when you just start to do that and then you run into just the sheer numbers and then how do you keep the bubble small, you get to this scenario. And I like this scenario. I think all the teams that have a legit chance of getting into the postseason are going to be there. I think everybody that's coming in is coming in as rested and healthy as they're possibly going to be, so we're not dealing with that. Philadelphia 76ers are going to be whole. The Portland Trailblazers are going to be whole, so there's going to be new variables to that. Who can hit the ground running? Who can create new chemistry? I mean, I think it's going to be a factor for the Lakers and a factor for the Milwaukee Bucks. Is that amazing rhythm and chemistry they had? Is they got to reinvent that on the fly, not in their home environment. And then you've got Zion Williamson's going to be in it. So I think it's going to be fun. I like the play-in because you've got to make it interesting. The fact that we're going to see angles and things in the broadcast that we've never seen before because the cameras don't have to deal with crowds. We're going to be closer to the game. We're going to hear more. So I think it's going to be interesting. And the fact that there's built-in, baked-in drama towards the end, I mean, let's be real. How many times were you really sitting on the edge of your seat on April 12th figuring out who was going to be the ninth seed? You know, this thing will make it interesting, and you've got something to play for.
Well, I know it'll be interesting here in Memphis with the Grizzlies situation, trying to hang on to that A spot in the West. Steve Kyler joining us on the program from Basketball Insiders. You can follow him on Twitter at Steve Kyler NBA. Steve, when the details started to come out about the proposal, I guess the biggest thing that kind of jolted me was when they tentatively are scheduled to start next season, early December. I don't see that happening. What about you?
Well, it lines up well. Like, there's a whole lot of people internally in NBA circles that have been saying, why are we trying to compete against the NFL, especially in markets where the NFL is the dominant player? Think about Atlanta. Why would you schedule an Atlanta Hawks game when the Falcons are playing? Nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to care. You know, those markets usually don't care about their NBA team unless they're a runaway winner till the NFL season's over. So starting the season in December gets you out of the NFL. You're out of hockey's way for the most part. Hockey gets its own little bubble. And now you're competing against baseball. And the NBA will win against baseball. It will. So I think it's going to be good for business. I think it makes more sense in terms of starting the season because it's always been said the unofficial start of the NBA season is Christmas Day. So why not make it the start? And then you're moving All-Star out of February, and then maybe you're moving the draft out of June and getting it into July, and now you've got Summer League theoretically in August, and the NBA becomes a true year-round sport with very little in its way. So I think it's good for business, but the players are saying it's not enough time off, that December 1 isn't enough. But the truth of it is that you're going to have 4 teams that are playing deep. Everybody else is going to be done in September. So you're talking 3 months off and no summer league and those kind of things. So I think it's going to work itself out for the same reason I felt like they needed to make a deal. If you say no and they blow up the collective bargaining agreement, then what? So there's leverage, there's power on the owner's side again, and I think they're going to get what they want, but I think there'll be compromises in it too.
You mentioned the mental aspect of things, being down there, being in the bubble, dealing with the COVID tests and how it will affect one player to the next. With that said, not knowing, it's such a fluid situation and the uncertainty that what could happen. Do you still look at the Lakers, the Bucks, and a couple others as the favorite? Who would you pick right now, not knowing anything? One of the superstars who could actually get a positive test and be out of the playoff. What would you say, Steve, to who you think are still the favorites to win it all, in your opinion?
Well, I do think the front runners are still the front runners. What the Milwaukee Bucks are as a team in terms of Giannis, likely a 2-time MVP, and how he's growing, the fact that they've gotten all of their guys rest and healthy, the way their coaching staff has been working virtually and doing film review, I think the Bucks can get right back to where they were. I think the Lakers will too. This is, again, a lot of rest for LeBron James, which scare me if I'm facing him. He's good and motivated. So the Lakers and I think the Bucks are still there. But look, Toronto gets healthy, they're right there. Philly gets healthy, they're right there. The Boston Celtics were right there to begin with. So the Eastern Conference, the Clippers, the more time Paul George and Kawhi Leonard can get their body right, the better. Denver is legit. I like Portland as a sleeper. I like Memphis as a sleeper. You saw how they played down the stretch. Sacramento's a sneaky play. The Pelicans are certainly a sneaky play. So the way the Thunder were playing with Chris Paul, certainly he's president of the Players Association. He's going to have his guys ready to prove they did the right thing. So there's just a lot there that I think is going to make it more wide open than maybe anybody was thinking about, because you do lose home court, you do lose comfort factor. Travel isn't a factor. Now it's just who has the better guys, the better coaching staff. So I think you're going to need your coaching staff more than ever. And I think the guys that can be very mentally focused through all of this are going to be the ones that really excel.
Yeah, that's a great point. Teams that are getting the walking wounded back, and a lot of those teams are 100% healthy. The Nets are not going to get Kevin Durant, but for the most part, guys that were on the line right there, they were teetering whether they were going to come back or not. They've had now months to rehabilitate, so they're going to be back. It's going to be interesting how they all integrate players, especially Memphis with Justice Winslow, who hasn't played a game. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Steve, we're looking forward to it. Listen, thank you so much for your time. Stay well, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you down the line.
Anytime, fellas. You too.
Appreciate it, Steve. Steve Kyler from Basketball Insiders. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, but that's what will make it, I think, interesting. It won't just be the favorites, although it could end up being, and probably will be, where it's the Lakers or the Bucks or the front runners right now, Eli. But when you have so much uncertainty right now, it is a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, there's the things that could happen down there, and then also, as I said, like the teams that have gotten guys healthy that have been helped by this kind of to give a full roster that could have changed things too. So there's it could get a little wild down there. You never know.
When we come back, our friend Mike Claiborne from the Cardinals Radio Network. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales. At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender. Upgrade to luxury. Visit the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway at 385. Umansky Maserati and Alfa Romeo, Lincoln of Memphis, and Acura of Memphis. One convenient location for incredible brands. Ridgeway and 385. Come see the Italian race-inspired performance of the Stelvio and Ghibli, precision-crafted performance of the RDX and MDX, or the amazing new Aviator, Navigator, or Nautilus. Rates as low as 0%. Payments from $279. 90 days until your first payment at the Umansky Luxury Complex at Ridgeway and 385. Well qualified buyers. Offers cannot be combined.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hi, it's the Herd. Lowe's wants to celebrate the daddest dads of all who have been crushing DIY projects lately with Lowe's Dedications. Not dedications, dedications. Call and tell us about the DIY dad in your life. 833-619-3DAD. That's 833-619-3323. Then listen Father's Day weekend to hear your dedication live on the air. You can also check out more Lowe's tributes to Dad using the hashtag #DadBuiltThis.
For 95 years, Saia LTL Freight has hit the road to deliver the goods that keep businesses and communities moving. Now, in this uncertain time, we won't stop going that extra mile, because at the end of the day, we are all in this together for the long haul. Saia LTL Freight, driving stability, safety, support, and strength. Visit Saia.com. That's SAIA.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Congratulations to Memphis Tiger infielder Alec Trella. I've had the pleasure of being a part of the radio broadcast calls for his entire career. He was a senior this year, off to a great start, and of course, as everything was, came to a screeching halt, but he has been named to the COSIDA Academic All-American team for the second straight year. Now, I don't know if he is going to be one of those athletes that comes back and gets to play again. I know that's out there. I'm not sure what Memphis is going to do, or Alec's career is going to move on and hopefully to play some sort of professional baseball. But congratulations to Alec. Again, second straight year. Great honor, named to the COSIDA Academic All-American team. Speaking of baseball, time to talk a little baseball, among other things, with our good buddy Mike Claiborne from the Cardinals Radio Network and the Claibs Online website. You can check out Mike on Twitter at Claibs Online, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Mike, I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us.
Man, it's great to hear your voices. I'm hanging in there, but it's great to hear you guys, and I'm happy to be on with you today.
It is great to have you on. I'm glad that you're doing well in this COVID-19 world, and we're going to talk a lot of baseball, but obviously I want to get your thoughts about everything that's been going on over the past couple of weeks or so after the tragedy, the murder of George Floyd, and now what has happened in this country as I think change is happening. I mean, we can see it. We're hearing it. When NASCAR turns around and gets rid of the Confederate flag, you know you're moving in the right direction. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Mike, on everything?
Well, that's a great point you make, and I think and I've had people say, well, what do we do? What should we do? I think, man, what we have to start doing is being good listeners. Too many times, we don't listen, and we just kind of eye roll and want to finish a person's sentence because we always assume. And, obviously with the George Floyd tragedy, had we not had a camera phone on hand, nobody would have believed it. Mm-hmm. Or most people. Well, let's put it this way. People who don't look like me would have said, oh, come on. Mm-hmm. It couldn't be like that.
He deserved it.
Those things don't happen. Or, yeah, you're right. He deserved it. And, then when they actually see it and they're like, well, wait a minute, that couldn't happen. Yeah, it did. And I guess what? It happens more than you think. It happens more than it should. So the first thing I think what was important is we have to be better listeners and hear what's going on and seeing what's going on and then taking the next step. I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said it best. We have to start making friends with people who don't look like us. Mm-hmm. We got to start making friends with people so we can learn and listen about culture and a lot of misnomers. I think people on both sides of the fence have been taught, or as they grew up, they were taught this about white people or this about black mm-hmm. people. And, then when they actually hang out with them and they get a feel for them and they're like, man, it's nothing like what I was told at the dinner table or wherever it was taking place. And I think that's the only way we can get through this. You're right about NASCAR making a statement because, NASCAR has not catered to people, of color as far as fans and or participants. But for them to step up and do what they did and then have this clown Cicerelli saying, I'm not going to participate. I got news for you. More people know and more people knew who Dino Cicerelli is than they know who this guy is, okay?
That's true.
Dino Ciccarelli, the hockey player, is in the Hall of Fame. This guy couldn't win racing for pink slips, from what I'm told. So for him to take his lunchbox and go home or whatever, good. I mean, it just creates greater exposure for what the issue is. And again, it's not going to happen overnight. There's a lot of people saying they're sorry and they want to move forward. But I thought that the telltale moment for sports was when Drew Brees made his comments, and obviously he wasn't thinking. He apparently thought that only white grandfathers got shot at in World War II, and once he amended his statement and then corrected the president about this is not about the flag, it's another issue. Then other people started to say, well, yeah, this is what Colin Kaepernick was saying, a few years ago. So you get that conversation going, and I think in sports, I don't think I've ever seen sports as far as the participants have been so united in trying to feel like this is what's going on is wrong. Because, if you're playing in the NFL and you're an offensive lineman and you don't relate to a defensive end who doesn't look like you, but now you hear what he's gone through, that's going to bring you closer together and make sure that you have a better understanding of what it's like. So, it's unfortunate it cost somebody his life, and it's created a lot of other issues in this country. But hopefully we can all learn from it and move forward. And again, it's not going to happen overnight. It may take a lifetime. But I think we're going to be better off now than we were before this unfolded.
Mike, speaking of making friends, can the owners and players become friends and figure things out so we can get a baseball season going?
Man, you know what, Eli? It's so unfortunate. Both of them, they think that they're in collective bargaining for 2022. Now, that's the season, that's the year we probably won't have baseball. But there's so much distrust between the two. And the players haven't trusted the owners since Marvin Miller was president of the union. And, the owners have creative bookkeeping. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I really think the players feel like if they rush and do a deal, the owners are going to pull a new rabbit out of their hat of a new revenue stream that they won't be able to share in. And I think that that's an issue, but they don't trust each other. And there's new negotiators compared to years past that are at the table, and I don't know what marching orders they got, but apparently it's like, don't budge. So I think we're going to have some sort of finality by the end of the week. And, if all else fails, the commissioner can step in and force a season to take place. Now, you're going to have some genius that's going to say, well, I'm not going to play. Okay, well, you go on the restricted list. You don't get paid. You don't get a year's service credited toward arbitration or free agency. And, everybody who plays baseball wants to get to the 10-year mark because that's when the full pension kicks in. I think it starts at $220,000 a year for the rest of your life. And I'm pretty sure that most players, when their career is over with, won't be seeing that kind of dough for the rest of their lives. So anyway, it has a lot of ramifications to it with regard to the future. The people who I feel for most are people in Memphis where they don't have the Redbirds and all the other minor league cities that don't have baseball. They basically say, well, we'll see you guys next year. But, it's unfortunate because a lot of other fans are suffering from the coronavirus, but certainly what the major league players are doing with regard to not being able to get a deal done with the owners. So I feel like this weekend, early next week at the latest, the commissioner's already kind of intimated, we're not going to let this go much further. We want to do a deal, but if we can't, I will enforce the rule that they had set forth when the coronavirus first broke out.
I'll tell you one thing. If you want to be that player or players that don't want to play here, you're going to be on the losing end of things because
I agree.
Baseball loses if there's no season. And if you're one or two of those players, right, Mike? And the fans look at, wait, Jim Smith is not going to play. In this world we live in right now with all the problems, you're not going to play? Shut up. Forget about it. That player will be ostracized for the rest of their careers if they have a career.
I agree with you. And Blake Snell was going to be at the top of that list when he, started talking. And he was so uninformed when he was talking about it somebody obviously reeled him in and just said, Blake, shut up. We need to tell you how this is working.
Right.
But, I'm going to tell you something, Greg. I think it even goes further than that. Let's say if the commissioner forces a 50-something game schedule, there are fans that are going to walk away from this because of the spirit of why it was done. And I think when you have the NBA and the NFL and the NHL, college football all moving up with regard to the summertime with their events, baseball's going to have to get at the end of the line. And I don't know if there's a PR firm out there that could save them and create an image that won't that will erase what the stain they've left for everybody because they elected not to play.
Good point.
And I think it's going to be harder because see now social media will pound baseball to the point where people and let's throw this into the equation. You had people who haven't been out of the house or they've had to find something else to do for almost 3 months. So they will say, you know what, I realized I didn't need baseball as much as I thought I did. I'm going to go back to doing this, and that. And I just think that it won't be a happy ending. And while I know it took a while for baseball to recover from '94, I think it'll take even longer this time around just because of the swagger of both sides that people have just had enough of. I mean, this country's struggling in so many different directions. You got 40 million people looking for work. You've got all sorts of things going on, and you're going to tell me that you can't agree on how to play 4 or 5 months of baseball?
Right.
No excuse.
Well, you mentioned '94, and one of the ways baseball came back from that was the '98 season and the home run chase. They've got the documentary, the 30 for 30, starting this weekend. Mike, what do you remember? What when you think about that '98 season and what McGwire and Sosa did? What are the things that you think about?
I think about batting practice, which was must watch. And they didn't use it in the documentary, but I thought that when you would watch BP, the other team would come out and watch. Everybody would come out and watch except pitchers. Pitchers wouldn't come out and watch that, man, because there's no sense in them seeing something that could happen to them later in the evening. But it was like, okay, so there are two things that I think I missed. When the Cardinals had Whitey Herzog's teams, and they were so good defensively, and this is when teams took infield before the game where fans could get in. It was like when you had Ozzie and Herb and Terry Pendleton and those guys, it was like watching Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, it was incredible. Well, they don't do it anymore. So I used to always look at that. But when McGwire would come out for BP, you would stop what you were doing. It was like must watch. And then the years when he and Sosa would, play against each other. Hey, the wind's blowing out at Wrigley. Let's go. Let's get over here earlier today. We might see something. We might find a couple of balls about 3 blocks away from the ballpark. I mean, it was must watch, and that's when, if you recall, and Eli, you're a Cub fan. This is before they put that big scoreboard up out there, and the wind was truly blowing out the left, and nothing was knocking it down. If you got the right jet stream, seriously, you found a ball 2-3 blocks away.
Jeez,
they hit some. I was actually watching some clips of Sosa, some of the home runs he hit that year in Wrigley, and it's amazing where they're landing.
Balls opposite field. See, here's the thing that I felt was kind of a red flag, and I didn't really think as much about it as I did later. When you start seeing Sosa hitting balls to right center field, 400 and something feet, then you kind of felt like, well, wait a minute, come on. And these ballparks were not as forgiving as the ones are now. And I think as we look back, and there's another side to the story, obviously, where, these guys were cheating. But we didn't know that at the time. We just embraced it because it was something that gave us a good feel. It made us feel good about going to the games. We later found out it was all a facade. And that's unfortunate, but I guess all is forgiven. I mean, the Cardinals in baseball forgave McGwire. They let him back in the game. If Sammy wasn't trying to be all about Sammy, they probably would have let him. Well, they wouldn't even recognize him now compared if you look at him back in the 90s. No, you're not Sammy.
But why?
Sammy looks like this.
Yeah, but Mike, why do you think one thing is baseball embracing them again after time has passed? The Cardinals not only embraced McGuire, they brought him back as a coach.
Yeah.
But it's not happening with Sammy in Chicago. Why?
Well, I don't know. I think Sammy, because, Sammy never came clean. They asked him about it, and then all of a sudden he's on No Habla English.
That's
Remember he
true.
had a translator. Remember he had a translator at the hearing.
That's right.
But he was able to talk English at every press conference he was at. So I think the fact that Sammy was, in my opinion, more fraudulent about the whole thing. And
right.
I think some people just roll their eyes and say, "Come on, man." The reason why McGuire got back in is because McGuire came clean. He say, "I did it, and I'm sorry." And America's a pretty forgiving society. They gassed a really good hitting coach in Hal McRae to make sure McGuire had a job. Now, in fairness, Mac did a nice job as a hitting instructor. One of the things about being on the broadcast team, he and I almost every day would talk hitting. And he knew hitting. The year he hit 70, he hit 299. So, he was a real student. And I remember one time I said, if I'd have known you earlier, who knows how many years I'd have been in the big leagues. And then I thought about, well, you still got to do the other things in order to be in the big leagues. But so to say that he was just a facade would be inaccurate, because he really did earn his keep. And I thought he was on his way to being a manager. He was a bench coach in San Diego, but he walked away from it this year. He's got a kid that they think is going to be pretty good. And I think Mark wanted to spend more time with his kid. I think he's 17. If you watch him, I've seen some video on him. He's got the same stance. He's got the same swing. He's a big, tall kid like his dad was. So I think as a parent, when this may be the last time you can have that real quality time with your kid before they go on to college or the pros, you got enough money. Why not stop and do it?
Mike, do you remember number 62 that year? Do you remember more? Number 70? I
remember 70. Because Shannon, that was the beginning of Shannon saying, "Get up, baby, get up, get up, get up." That was his call. And because it was still in doubt going into the weekend on who was going to be the home run champ.
Well, I think Sosa led going into that final week. Wasn't it 66, 65? And then Sosa didn't hit any, and McGuire hit, 5 in that weekend?
McGuire, and thank God the Montreal Expos were here. And that was the other thing, man. Down the stretch, when you were facing teams that were out of it, you were seeing some rag-on pitchers in some case. And they took full advantage of it. They were serving up some real meatballs, but at the end of the day, it was an incredible story at that time that everybody felt good about, and unfortunately, we found out there was another chapter to it that left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I don't think any of those guys will ever get in the Hall of Fame. I think that we're going to probably sit on that era for a little while longer before we let them in. Now, they let one guy in, and I think everybody kind of looked around and said, well, wait a minute, we can't do that again. And so I think the rest of them have to sit it out.
I'll ask you an impossible question to answer, but I'll still ask it. If he didn't do steroids, what would Mark McGuire be as a baseball player?
That's a great question. I think he was, injuries did him in more than his lack of skill. He was a pretty good player when he was healthy. But, he had the plantar fasciitis. He had some other issues. And, part of the reason why he was on the juice where he could recover quicker. And I think maybe he ran into the perfect storm where while he was recovering, his body subconsciously was breaking down. And, he just decided, I'm done. Remember he sent the email in that was a car ravage or somebody said, I'm not playing, I'm done. So
right.
I just think he had enough of the rehab and the training and all of that and just walked away from it. But I think he would have been a good player regardless, because he was a good player before he really immersed himself into the juice.
Mike, it's always great to have you on the program, man. Really appreciate it, and hopefully it will be happening, like you said, that we'll hear something in the next few days about having some sort of baseball season.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping. And, man, it's always great to visit with you guys. I don't know when we'll see each other again. And that's the unfortunate thing about this whole ordeal where, the broadcasters aren't going to travel when we do start playing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people I'm going to miss out on. I'm not going to be able to come to Memphis to catch the Grizzlies this year. So it's going to be one of those years where we're just going to have to put it in the closet and look forward to the next one. But I will say this, and I've told some people already, I will break the social distancing rule because I'm going to hug people because I'm just giddy to see people that like you guys that I don't see enough and love talking to you guys on a regular basis. But we'll get through this, and hopefully we'll be a better group of people for it.
Well said. Thanks, you, Mike. Take care of yourself.
All right, you guys take care. Have a good day.
Here's the 2021, hopefully.
Heck, the next time I see Mike, he talked about Sosa being unrecognizable. Mike's unrecognizable because he's lost so much weight.
Oh, what has he been doing? I mean, obviously dieting, but
he's just been exercising and everything else, but he has lost a ton of weight. It's like when I see pictures of him now, I got to do going, oh, that is Mike. Yep, that's Mike. He has lost a bunch. Last time I had him on, I think when you were off, he told me, I can't remember what his number is, but he doesn't even look like the same person anymore. He basically lost an entire person.
See, the exercising part, although during COVID, I've been bad about it, but I am about to venture back into the gym. That's not the problem for me. It's the eating problem. So I need recommendations of ways to go through the day because I pick. I do a lot of picking. I'm bored. I'm watching TV. I pick and do. I promised myself I'm going to try to limit the amount of junk that's in my house. But maybe there's some things that people suggest. So when I see the people that have lost a lot of weight, I want the suggestions from them. I don't feel like spending $500 to go to one of those services and things of that nature. I mean, it's not like, I'm not that bad where I have to get my stomach stapled, but I want to get good information on that. And obviously, if it's working for Mike, let me tell you something. What I have found out, it is much more than exercising. It's all about the eating part. It's about the eating part. If you don't eat bad, you're not going to get big. You can exercise all you want, and you can still retain the fat because you're eating poorly. And that's the one thing, at least, I've learned. Hey, as we go to the timeout, John Tauti was on with us the other day. I shouldn't laugh at this, but the headline made me giggle. He says basically guaranteed that this will be our most read story today. The story is Jermaine Funny Mane Johnson charged with inciting a riot after Birmingham protests. Jermaine Funny Mane Johnson. Nothing funny about being charged with inciting a riot. We'll take a timeout. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Weekdays from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Central Barbecue is committed to the health and safety of this community, who has supported Central for almost 20 years. Central Barbecue is still open for business with to-go and delivery options to serve the greater Memphis area with the same great barbecue you have come to know and love. With 4 locations to serve you, from downtown, midtown, and East Memphis, you can order your favorite barbecue and enjoy everything on the menu in the comfort of your own home. Call your nearest Central Barbecue location for more information on delivery and to-go options today. Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Has this ever happened to you? I bought football tickets for my husband's birthday, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling like I'm being manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo, and I saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
For 95 years, Saya LTL Freight has hit the road to deliver the goods that keep businesses and communities moving. Now, in this uncertain time, we won't stop going that extra mile, because at the end of the day, We are all in this together for the long haul. Saia LTL Freight, driving stability, safety, support, and strength. Visit saia.com. That's SAIA.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Well, she was an American girl.
So good news from the Charles Schwab Challenge. They had 487 coronavirus tests from the players, caddies, and essential personnel. All of them came back negative.
That is good.
That's really good news. And good news for Justin Rose, and he is off to a tremendous start. He is 7 under, still playing his first round. Johnny Vegas at 6, Brian Harmon at 5, Bryson DeChambeau at 5. So really the layoff for these players really hurt them. They've come out and they're torching the course at Colonial in Fort Worth. And I am so mad, even though it's only one round, as Jay Hasselman tells me, but he's the one who kind of talked me out of picking Rose yesterday. He said he's done. I thought to myself, am I missing something? Did Justin Rose get hurt? He says he's done, like pretty much done for his career. I don't think so. Justin Rose is too good to be considered done. And again, off to a great start.
You're a grown man. You can make your own picks.
I know. Well, hopefully Ricky Fowler has a good round today and a good tournament. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the NBA is targeting a slightly earlier date for the restart of the season in Orlando. Sources tell ESPN July 30th. That's just one day earlier. But the point being that things are still being ironed out. A lot of logistics that need to be ironed out. So it's all still very fluid as far as what needs to be done. They're having problems. I don't know if it's problems, but there's certainly some concerns about the schedule because you're limited on the venues at the Disney World complex. There's a lot of practice areas, but there's not a lot of courts to play an actual game on. So they're trying to figure that out as well.
We couple of texts here on the First Bank text line on your 3 people to hang out in the bubble with.
Yeah.
Somebody said Prince, Marilyn Monroe, and Rodney Dangerfield. Jamie says Howard Stern, Dave Chappelle, Robin Williams. So they're just going to
pure comedy. Well,
laugh.
Yeah, Howard Stern's not a comedian. I mean,
Raider Corey says Prince, Ali, and Thomas Edison. But Muhammad Ali's an athlete. You said no athletes.
Yeah, no
right?
athletes. That's right.
And then here's my favorite one, and I should have thought this way. Somebody texted in, they would go with Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, and Captain Morgan. I think that's probably the best answer. Quite frankly, hanging out in the bubble with those 3 is probably the best way to go.
All right, so Jack Daniels was a real dude, right?
Yes.
Jim Beam was a real dude, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Captain Morgan. No way that guy was real. I mean, on the commercials, you think he's like a real dude, but that's a caricature. I don't know if that was a real guy, Captain Morgan. So you'd have to. Yeah, we're not saying that they're coming with a shipment of their good stuff. It's just those 3 guys.
It is Sir Henry Morgan.
So Captain Morgan is Sir Henry Morgan, a real guy.
Yes.
Wow. Look at that. Not only do we entertain, we educate here on the program.
That's according to what I'm reading here in Wikipedia real quick.
Gabe, have you thought about the 3 you would want? I haven't done so yet, so don't ask me.
Dave Chappelle would be in there, no doubt. Besides that, no. That's the one definite I'd have. Dave Chappelle.
If you were taking a musical artist, like I took Prince, which I could have gone some country guys too, but Prince would be the most entertaining. If you were taking a musical artist, who would you take?
Yeah, you're talking to Gabe or me?
To Gabe. I know you would take Mark Lindsay.
I would.
I don't need to ask
Mark
you.
Lindsay is a given.
I don't need to ask you those questions.
Me and Greg could hang out with Mark Lindsay.
So who would your musical artist be, Gabe?
See, I don't know. I haven't thought
So
about
mine would be the Boss. No, in seriousness, I'd love to have a nice conversation with Paul McCartney, but it would be the Boss. He's from my home state. Springsteen has so many great stories. It would be the Boss.
So you take Bruce Springsteen and Mark Lindsay? That's
Mark Lindsay's a given, like I said. Mark Lindsay's already part of the...
Somebody says Matthew McConaughey, Patrick Swayze, and Elvis Presley.
Patrick Swayze. By the way, Raider Corey will replace Ali with Chappelle.
I wonder why Patrick Swayze. Like
So you can mold clay together with him?
Swayze, but
Patrick Swayze, that is a unique one.
Elvis is very good. Elvis would be a fantastic
Elvis would be cool
option. Matthew McConaughey would be cool.
Give it to us. Come on, Eli.
No, I'm not doing that.
God, you put him on the spot. He won't.
Any Jimi Hendrix takers out there?
McConaughey and Elvis, but that's a weird. The McConaughey and Elvis, I certainly understand, but Patrick Swayze as the third of that group is a little strange.
Jimmy would be just smoking a little dope. That'd be the same with like Willie Nelson. It'd be just like all dope smoking. I don't know if he'd have a conversation.
You don't have to be involved in that. You can have the conversation.
Yeah, but he'd be lit.
It might be an interesting conversation.
Being around high Willie Nelson, I think would be entertaining.
Snoop Dogg. How about Snoop Dogg?
So I'm surprised Eli didn't. I'm surprised Snoop Dogg.
I want to see Greg hang out with Snoop Dogg.
I can hang out with Snoop. I could be in that car with the General and Snoop. I can hang out. I'm surprised that Eli didn't go Ron White. I thought for sure Ron White would be he'd be the life of the party.
I love Ron White. There's no doubt about it. He would be a great choice, but Eddie Murphy would be my comedian of choice.
When we come back, Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio to open up Hour 3. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores, the score used by 90% of top lenders, for free, even if you're not a customer. Checking your score won't hurt your credit, and you can check each month for changes, always for free. The Discover Credit Scorecard, free for everyone. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Hi, it's the Herd. Lowe's wants to celebrate the daddest dads of all, who have been crushing DIY projects lately with Lowe's Dedications. Not dedications, dedications. Call and tell us about the DIY dad in your life. 833-619-3DAD. That's 833-619-3323. Then listen Father's Day weekend to hear your dedication live on the air. You can also check out more Lowe's tributes to Dad using the hashtag #DadBuiltThis.
Blood and plasma donations are more important than ever. People all around the world still depend on the medicine your plasma helps make. That's why Interstate Blood Bank and Plasma Biological Services are open and will remain open for our donors. The United States government has declared blood and plasma donation as a critical infrastructure industry. That means healthy donors are allowed to travel to and from donation centers regardless of any stay-at-home mandates in your area. We need you to keep donating so that we can continue to manufacture these life-saving medicines. We understand that you may be concerned about COVID-19. The health and safety of our donors and our employees remain a top priority. To limit the spread of the virus, we're taking additional measures to ensure our centers are safe and clean. Donating now is more important than ever, but please do not come to the center to donate if you are not feeling well or have a sore throat, fever, cough, or shortness of breath. We are doing our part so that you can do yours. Come donate today at one of our IBBI or PBS locations across the Memphis area.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:02 the time, final hour for us today. On this Thursday, June 11th edition of Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, they are here to make your staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer, offering contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickups. So give them a call to schedule an appointment or place an order. They're located at 2120 Witten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the terrific folks at the FedEx Corporation. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx can help your business thrive online. And the third hour of the program also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware for convenience, service, knowledge, and price, located at 5143 Quince Road. Give them a call at 901-683-8688. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday from 10 to 4. You hear him on Fox Sports Radio on the weekends. Of course, he has a terrific podcast, the Aaron Torres Podcast, the aforementioned Aaron Torres joining us on the program now. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron_Torres. What's up, Aaron?
Greg, my man, what's going on? How we doing today?
Man, doing pretty good. I'm gonna hit you with a tough question right off the bat. So here's the deal. Uh-oh. You're quarantined. You're at the bubble in Orlando for 3 months. And you can have 3 people with you. Can't be family, can't bring your wife, and it can't be anybody in the sports world. We're talking about historical figures alive or from the past. What 3 people of significance are you going to be shacked up for 3 months with?
So if I can't bring my wife, can I bring my girlfriend? No.
Listen to you.
I'm kidding.
Listen to you. Where's the rim shot? We need the rim shot for that.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to go sister wives on everybody here, but I mean, if I was shacked up for 3 months and I could bring 3, turn it into a little mini bachelor and, there wasn't going to be any infighting when I'm trying to get ready to play in the NBA Finals, that would actually probably be my answer. Of course, if I wasn't married, but I am. So, but that would be my answer. I'd probably, find 3 lovely ladies who love Disney.
I also said you can't have 3 because Eli would have picked 3 right off the bat, and everybody would have picked 3. Gabe, our producer. So let's go 1. You could have 1, and then you have to pick 2 guys. Sorry.
2 bros?
Yeah.
We're not sharing, though, right? No. Oh, my goodness. This has gone completely off the rails.
It's not a brothel, for goodness sakes. What's going on here?
All right. So historical figures that aren't in sports?
Right.
I don't really know if I know anybody that's not.
Well, no, it could be a musician, could be a comedian, could be an actor, could be politician, could be a former president, could be a general from a war, whatever.
Aaron, I went with Prince, Eddie Murphy, and Ben Franklin. So.
Okay, that's an eclectic group. That would make for some good dinner conversation at the resort. Kevin Hart makes me laugh, so I would probably say Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And I don't even know. I don't really know. I don't really like people that much. I would just Kevin Hart and maybe one lucky lady, and that's really. I think that would get me through the 3 months. So
at least you like us to come on our show as often as you do. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I do like you.
You wrote about, and I think it was you did something with the podcast with Cade Cunningham. What's going on with there?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. It's incredible that you asked me this question at this exact time. I actually just got off the phone with Mike Boynton, the head coach at Oklahoma State, for Monday's podcast, and he is just handling this with so much class and so much dignity. To backtrack with Cade Cunningham, so he's obviously the number one high school player in America, ranked in most services, even ahead of Jalen Green. And he was committed and signed with Oklahoma State, and like everybody, this was a little bit of a bombshell. And so to backtrack even beyond Cade Cunningham, for people who, and I think, this is something I talked to Coach Boynton about, is that, I think that when we kind of just think of the FBI cases, we just lump them all together as if all of them are the same. And so with Oklahoma State, what you need to understand is that their case is so unique in the sense that they basically had one coach acting rogue, took, somewhere in the neighborhood of $18,000+, and exactly $300 made it to anyone other than the coach. It made it to a player that was on the team 3-4 years ago. That player was actually suspended for taking, an extra benefit of $300, and the coach pocketed everything else. And as soon as the school found out that he was involved, obviously they put him on leave and then fired him. They've cooperated with the NCAA. And so, I think what Oklahoma State's position is that if we weren't lumped in with the rest of the FBI cases, this wouldn't even be considered a Tier 1 major infraction scandal. It would be, the kid was suspended and we all moved on. And so I think their frustration is very much that, they're being lumped in with programs that, frankly, Brian Bowen was set to make $100,000 at Louisville. Kansas, we've talked about it on this show before. There are pretty direct text messages between Adidas reps and Bill Self that it's hard to interpret them as anything other than Bill Self working with Adidas to get recruits to Kansas. And so I think Oklahoma State's frustrated as it pertains to Cade Cunningham specifically. Basically they're telling all their players, it's not just Cade Cunningham, we want you here, but you have to do what's best for you. And I think that they feel pretty confident that the vast majority will come back to Oklahoma State. All of them can transfer without sitting out. But obviously Cade Cunningham is the big domino. He is the big X factor, and he has some real, options out there. He could obviously pursue that G League path that Jalen Green did. He could pursue an overseas option. In theory, he could transfer to another college basketball program, but I don't really see that being the case, although I think there's plenty of schools that are certainly trying to jockey for that position right now. So it's a crazy time. It's a surreal time, but it's a very frustrating time for the folks in Stillwater.
I got a chance. Their high school team came and played an event here in Memphis this past season. That kid blew me away with how good he was.
Okay, so let me say this, and I said this on my podcast the other day. I've seen just about every relevant high school player in high school basketball since probably about 2012, 2013. And listen, I'm not Evan Daniels. I'm not Corey Evans. I'm not at 50 events a year, but I've seen them at least once or twice. There are only two players in my life that I have walked into the gym and said, that looks like a number one overall draft pick to me. Ben Simmons, who, hate to brag, ended up being the number one draft pick, and Cade Cunningham. Those are the only two. Zion was great, but obviously we all know there was questions about his weight and how would he manage and all that stuff. RJ Barrett was phenomenal. But Jalen Green, by the way, was phenomenal, who you guys got to know well. But there was only two that I said, this kid looks like a number one overall draft pick, and it's Cade Cunningham. And for people who don't know what he's about, 6'6", 6'7", somewhere in that range. And it sounds like you guys have seen him up close and in person. But, more importantly, he handles the ball at that position. He's a great teammate at that size. He obviously rebounds the ball. He distributes the ball. I can't think of a great comp right off the top of my head. And the thing is, because he came up in the same class as Jalen Green, people say that he's not an elite athlete because Jalen Green is one of the best athletes we've had in high school basketball in years. And then all of a sudden you turn on YouTube and there he is throwing the ball between his legs, him being Cade Cunningham. I agree with you guys 100%. I've been so impressed every time that I've seen him. I've been so impressed with the way he carries himself off the court. And I would just say real quick, he's got to do what's best for him. But I just thought he would be such a great ambassador for college basketball next year. I still think, by the way, there's a possibility that he does play at Oklahoma State. But he would have been such a great ambassador, and I hope we figure out a way to get him on a college basketball court because I think he'd be really good for the sport.
All right, so when you look at it, the last couple of years, R.J. Hampton goes pro. He doesn't go to college. Ball does the same thing. James Wiseman and the disaster last year, probably the best freshman in the country, plays 3 games. Cade Cunningham may not play this year. Jalen Green off to this new G League developmental team. Is basketball, college basketball, taking a big hit from not having these stars?
Yeah, I think college basketball is at a crossroads, and it's weird because this was my first reaction when I saw the news, and I think a lot of people were saying, "Oh, so should we just not punish Oklahoma State because they have a star player?" And I get that argument, but one, as I've kind of already laid out, the punishment really, frankly, doesn't fit the crime. But I also think that it's kind of a little bit of a tone-deaf moment for college basketball because the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And what you're basically doing is running out another great player from the sport of college basketball. And listen, I don't need to relitigate the whole James Wiseman case on Memphis radio. You guys know what happened and how it went down. But, James Wiseman, when he agreed to sit out and take a suspension, there wasn't anybody on the planet that thought he was going to get 13 games. And you guys would even know this better than I would. But my understanding is he agreed to sit out because it was basically unofficially presented to him that there was going to be a reasonable, 5-6 game suspension for what happened. Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm not saying I love James Wiseman quitting his team in the middle of the season, but the NCAA didn't make it easy on him. And the NCAA is not making it easy on Cade Cunningham to, play college basketball next year. And I just think, and, I said this on my podcast on Monday, I'm not advocating like you can't punish Oklahoma State because they have a star player. But, I mean, we're in a situation now where let's say Cade Cunningham goes to this G League, and from all accounts, I don't even know that he would choose that path. He might choose a professional team overseas. But let's say he chooses that path. Well, you guys know this. You guys follow this. Jonathan Kuminga, who was the number 1 high school player in the junior class, just moved up a class to kind of move up his eligibility clock. And it sounds like he's going to the G League. I mean, if you have the top 3 picks out of the G League next year, what elite player wants to come play college basketball? You get paid, you get a top 3 pick. I mean, it was a really crossroads moment. It was a really tone-deaf moment. To answer your question, Greg, people are still going to watch. People are still going to root for their teams. But the star players are what brings people in, no different than the NBA. And so I just think it was so dumb and so short-sighted. And frankly, again, it's not as though the punishment fits the crime, which makes it easier. If that makes sense.
Aaron, do you think anything comes out of all of this Zion lawsuit stuff as far as Duke is concerned?
Yeah, it's so funny. I talked about that yesterday too. It's a wild story, and the one thing I would say is that I do hope that if the NCAA is being this aggressive in punishing Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State's the only one that so far has been punished by this situation. I certainly hope that they're going to be just as ambitious with Kansas and Duke and the traditional Blue Bloods. I mean, listen, we have a situation here where it could bear out that Zion Williamson, that his parents were living in a house that was paid for, by somebody that wasn't them. Now, listen, I don't want to start getting into semantics here, and it's very possible they paid for it themselves. But I think, what this court case is trying to show is that, and they even brought it up last week, is that, we have text messages from the Kansas coaching staff saying it's going to take more than room and board and a scholarship to get Zion to Kansas here. And so, this lawyer who's trying to get money from Zion, and it's kind of a crazy, complicated case.
Gina Ford.
Yeah, exactly. She's trying to basically make the argument, something that all of us in college basketball have said is a little bit of common sense over the last, really year and a half, 2 years, is that if Kansas knew what the stakes were, it feels really hard to believe that Zion Williamson just went to Duke for, to wear the Duke jersey on the front of his chest. And, what I would say is I think most of us are beyond really caring. I don't know that I would love to know the percentage of people that were devastated that James Wiseman as an amateur took money from Penny Hardaway to get him to Memphis to play high school and then college basketball. I'm guessing it wasn't very many people. I just hope that if the NCAA is going to be this aggressive with Oklahoma State, that they dot the I's and cross the T's with Duke and Kansas and all these schools as well, because I think it's pretty clear that something probably did happen. Doesn't make Zion a bad person, doesn't make his family bad people. But if we're going to punish Oklahoma State or Memphis or whoever, I hope we're going to punish everybody the same.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more that you have a situation with inequality, and you want equality across the board. If you're going to punish one, you punish the other. We're not naive to the situation. You mentioned the deal right now with the lawsuit with Gina Ford. We talked about this earlier. I'm sure you saw the story where the Williamson family was living in an $895 monthly rental in South Carolina, and then he goes to Duke. They have a $950,000 house with a mortgage of $49.95 per month, and then 3 luxury cars registered to them. Come on, we're not naive. We know what's going on. We understand and that's why we're going down the road of, to some degree, name, image, and likeness, which, again, Duke is involved in that thing with Kevin White's comments made yesterday, the AD. They seem to be just, it's like one thing, they're doing one thing, and they're saying another thing. You talked about that yesterday as well, and you tweeted out about that. With Coach K and his association with USA Basketball, they certainly have a recruiting advantage.
Oh, yeah. No, they have all sorts of advantages under the current system. And I will defend Kevin White, the AD there, for a half a second, because I think what he was saying publicly is what a lot of people are saying behind the scenes, is that, I think that, yes, he is saying it because the current system is very advantageous for Duke. But I think what he was really saying is basically like, you kind of just said, okay, we can go ahead and implement this rule, but you haven't really given us any direction on what it's going to look like. And I do think there are a lot of schools that, listen, they're starting to recruit class of 2021 and certainly 2022 recruits, and this legislation may be changed by then. And it's like, okay, well, are we offering, a spot? Like, how is this even going to work? And so I think it was fair for Kevin White to do it, but I also think it's completely fair for a non-Duke fan to say, yeah, but nobody benefits from the current system more than you guys do. And Greg, you brought up a tweet that I put out the other day, but it was another assistant coach in college basketball basically saying, like, come on now, we're talking about unfair competitive advantages, and the Team USA stuff was real. I had a coach at a blue blood school that wasn't Duke. I'm talking big time. They've won many, I'll say more than 2 national championships. That's a very elite group of programs. That's probably 5, 6, 7 schools. And he told me point blank, he said, this was 3-4 years ago now when Duke really had it rolling in recruiting and all that stuff. He said, if I'm going head to head with Duke and they want a kid, I just back off because I can't win. And for people who don't understand, essentially it's not an extra benefit. It's not anything by breaking NCAA rules. But when Coach K at the time had final say over everything to do with Team USA, and he can get you into training camps that you wouldn't be able to get into otherwise. He can maybe get you on teams that you wouldn't be able to get into otherwise. That's a big deal. That matters. And so I'm bringing all this up to say that Duke has certainly had recruiting advantages. I did understand where the AD was coming from, but it didn't feel like the right moment in time to say that exact thing in the way that he said it.
One final thing for you. Moussa Cisse who is obviously reclassifying and now will be going to college for a year. Can't go to that G League because of, the age. But it looked like for a while there it was probably slam dunk LSU. Then it was interesting that before he made his announcement and was going to make an announcement on a Friday that Dick Vitale had the story, or at least the news about LSU. And so I wondered if that would affect anything. Well, now everything I'm hearing is that the people, this is not the slam dunk either, but what I'm hearing, Aaron, is that he's going to pick Memphis. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's doing. It's obviously something that's as fluid as COVID-19 with his decision-making. But how good is this kid? How much of an impact can he have in what will more than likely be a one-and-done year?
Well, I don't know if you're hearing it on the Aaron Torres podcast, because I had Corey Evans, the recruiting guru, on yesterday, and he actually kind of surprised me. You guys are, listen, and I've said a million times, I don't claim to be a recruiting guy. I just kind of follow the guys that are really smart about this. But I had been hearing LSU was done, months ago. I mean, it was just a matter of, him getting into the class of 2020, and he was going to be an LSU Tiger. And Corey on my show today kind of surprised me. We were talking yesterday, and it was through Zoom, so he could see my reaction when I said it. He said, yeah, I'm not saying it's definitely not LSU, but I do think it's not as slam dunk as it once was. And so as far as him as a player, listen, I think he's really good. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I think he's raw offense. Listen, I think he can step in day one, protect the rim, play really hard on defense, and frankly, that's kind of what Memphis needs right now, especially after losing Precious Achiuwa. And I'm not saying that means that I think he's definitively going to Memphis. But, I don't think he's a star. I certainly don't think he's Precious Achiuwa. But I think he's a really nice piece for that team and really kind of does something that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I don't really think they have a guy like him on that roster. So I'll be curious. I'm just kind of following it as an observer like everybody else. I have no insight. I thought the LSU thing was really interesting. The one thing I would also add about LSU is that, I think by technicality, they have 3 players still in the draft process, and I believe that they're comfortably over the scholarship limit. And I mean by that is if all 3 guys were to return, they'd be at least 1, maybe 2 scholarships over.
Wow.
So I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying Will Wade wouldn't find. Will Wade strikes me as the kind of guy that would find a way to get Musa Cisse a scholarship if Musa Cisse wanted to come. But maybe they're just looking at the loaded front court there. They have a lot more personnel. Obviously, Shaq's son Sharif is down there. There's a few other guys. Maybe that's what they're looking at. But I'm with you guys in the sense that that's the buzz that I've been hearing, including Corey Evans. I encourage everybody to go listen. Talking about it today on my podcast, I was just frankly really surprised when I heard him say that. I really was.
Will Wade apparently can find a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but he's one. And listen, I try to defend college coaches on all this stuff, but there are some guys like even if you're not breaking rules, I mean, you really have to take 15 guys knowing that you're either gonna. What if his 3 kids want to come back and they either can't or now you got to ask somebody to leave. And, there are some coaches that operate like that, unfortunately, though. And, whether it's an NCAA violation or not, I just think it's kind of lousy to, tell a kid that, you're going to treat him like a son and all that stuff. And then somebody better comes along and, you got to go somewhere else. So,
absolutely.
I mean, that you can speculate whatever you want on Will Wade, but that is kind of sort of indisputable what I just said. So
he is Aaron Torres, the Aaron Torres podcast, Fox Sports Radio over the weekend. When are you on so everybody knows?
Yes, we do the Arnie Spanier and I do the overnight Saturday recap show, which is, I think I've said this many times on the show, it's usually a very fun shift. Right now we're kind of talking what everybody else is, NBA return, Major League return, but obviously when there's games, it's a great time to be on recapping college football, recapping NBA playoffs. And like everybody else, he and I think, are both pretty excited to get back going and get sports back on and have something else to talk about. So
we all are excited. Aaron, always a pleasure, man. Thanks so much. Stay well, okay?
Thanks, Greg. Take care.
You too. Aaron Torres from the Aaron Torres podcast at Fox Sports Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron_Torres. Trey Smith has been named to the 2020 Walter Camp preseason All-America team, the offensive lineman from the University of Tennessee. Coming up, it's our 5 favorite songs. Today, the subject is good. The word is good. If good is in the title of a song, it is eligible. If you have not gotten your list in, please do so via the First Bank text line at 67129. You can also watch us live. Message us with those lists at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM as well.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Hi. Guess we should talk about something. How's the, vermicelli game in your town? Got any good Vietnamese restaurants? Vermicelli? Oh, it's a noodle. Very good. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Has this ever happened to you? I wasn't feeling great, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by really uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal information is being bought and sold. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Start your day at Sunrise Memphis. Located in Midtown, enjoy delicious biscuit sandwiches and all their menu has to offer with quick and easy to-go and delivery options. Whether it's breakfast, brunch, or lunch, don't distance yourself from great food. For more information on Sunrise Memphis, visit sunrise901.com or call 901-552-3144 to place your order. Stay healthy and eat Sunrise Memphis today. Central Barbecue is committed to the health and safety of this community, who has supported Central for almost 20 years. Central Barbecue is still open for business with to-go and delivery options to serve the greater Memphis area with the same great barbecue you have come to know and love. With 4 locations to serve you, from downtown, midtown, and East Memphis, you can order your favorite barbecue and enjoy everything on the menu in the comfort of your own home. Call your nearest Central Barbecue location for more information on delivery and to-go options today.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't.
Nice.
I feel good.
Good. The category for today's 5 favorite songs. Before we get to that, though, this is good news, right? Sticking with the topic, Memphis, and this according to the Commercial Appeal, Memphis and Shelby County officials are still planning to move to Phase 3 of the Back to Business plan on Monday. This, despite the county having its 3rd straight day of triple-digit gains in positive COVID-19 tests. That's not good. But Phase 3 is where Eli has to deliver all my meals to me personally. I love Phase 3.
You wouldn't want that because I won't wear a mask.
I'm good. By the way, I went into Edwin Watts yesterday. No masks. Nobody. So I took mine off. I was like, I felt weird. Like, I go into Kroger, a lot of people have masks. I went in there was nobody. So I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Did you yell at anybody?
No, I didn't. No, it was all kumbaya yesterday. Got some clubs.
His face was beat red, though.
Got some clubs.
holding him the screams.
I was holding my breath.
He was angry in there. He was angry at everybody, and he was probably, I'm sure, brought up the fact that people played golf for free since you were at a golf store.
It's like a man giving back. What was it? What was Costanza's line? It was like an old man returning soup at a deli or something like that. When I went in there, it was good to see Jay and some familiar faces, and Robert took care of the grips, and yeah, so I was in there for about 10 minutes, and I just held my breath for 10 minutes straight. Time for our 5 favorite songs, and again, the category is good. So just the word good needs to be in the title of your song. You can text them in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Again, if you're watching us live, hello to you. You can message us with those lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. All right, Eli, start it off today.
All right. Number 5, Good-Hearted Woman by Waylon Jennings. Number 4, Nothing But a Good Time, Poison. Number 3, this is the first song by an artist who has actually been on the show, I think, I've had at any of these lists. Kiss an Angel Good Morning by Charlie Pride. Number 2, Only the Good Die Young, Billy Joel. And number 1,
Let the good times roll. Let them knock you around. Let the good times roll. Let them make you a clown. Let them leave you.
Good Times Roll by the Cars, my number 1. It's one of my favorite songs.
It is
of all time.
Unbelievable, this song. Of course, the Cars recently lost Rick Ocasek. Benjamin Orr passed away a long time ago. This was a group I got introduced to in college at Maryland, and I remember hearing one of these songs, Best Friend's Girl or whatever, and then going in and buying the album at the record shop in the student union.
When I was in college, at the end of the year, when I would complete my last final of the year, and summer was officially upon us, I would always go back to wherever I was living, and I would blare that song.
Wow, how about that?
I was surprised you didn't have any honorable mentions.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
It's 2 straight days with no honorable mentions.
No honorable mentions. All right, Gabe.
I really wanted to put Good Times Roll on my list. There's a song that beat it out barely, and that's my number 5, and that's Good Corn Liquor by the Steel Drivers, if y'all have ever heard that.
Good Corn Liquor.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's the band that Chris Stapleton is the lead singer of.
Okay.
He's not. It's not just him, right? It's not
I
just
have not heard that one. I'll have to check that one out.
I like their music. I like the Steel Drivers in general. They're just a good.
Have both your lists every single day, no matter what, always included at least one country song?
For the most part, I would say for me, for the most part.
I did not have a country song yesterday.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
Well, number 4, I Feel Good. I think it's I Got You, and then I Feel Good is in the parentheses, James Brown.
Mm-hmm.
3, Good Life by Kanye West. 2, Good Riddance by Green Day. And I know Raider Corey is about to like this one, number 1.
7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7 even backdoor Little Joe. I picked up the cash flow. Then we played those, and I'm yelling domino. Plus nobody I know got killed in South Central LA. Today was a good day.
Today was a good day. Ice Cube.
It's a great beat, man.
A very good song. That one got heavy consideration for me.
I like the Cube a lot, man. Very good. All right, good one so far. So here's my list. Number 5, Be Good to Yourself by Journey. Number 4, Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel. Number 3, Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. I'll skip right to number 1 because Eli and I absolutely agree. My number 1 is Good Times Roll, the Cars. So since we don't want to play that song again, here's my number 2.
Can you tell me what ailing me? Doctor, you said yeah.
is Good Lovin' by the Rascals with, I believe, Felix Cavalier on the lead vocals. That is my number 2. Good Times Roll Again by the Cars is my number 1.
All right, on the First Bank text line, Carolyn comes with Good Lovin' by the Rascals. Good as Hell by, it says
Lizzo.
Lizzo.
That is correct, yes.
Good Times by Chic.
Yeah.
It Hurts So Good, Millie Jackson. And Life's Been Good, Joe Walsh.
Oh, man, that's a good
You're
one.
not familiar with Lizzo?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It says Lizzie, and that's why. I
okay.
assumed it was Lizzo, but it could have been Thin Lizzy. I didn't know that
right.
song.
What was her number 2? Hurt So Good?
It Hurt So Good, Millie Jackson.
And didn't Mellencamp have one? Hurt So Good?
Mellencamp has Hurt So Good.
Hurt So Good, yeah.
Life's Been Good would be number 6 for me. Like if I would have went one more, Life's Been Good was my first one out.
I got to be honest with you. Somehow I didn't pick that one up when I'm looking through my lists. I love that song. It would have made 5. I would have bumped Journey's Be Good to Yourself.
Raider Corey, number 5, Hurt So Good by Mellencamp. Number 4, Good Golly Miss Molly, Little Richard. Number 3, Only the Good Die Young. Number 2, Good Vibrations, but the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch version.
Oh, wow.
And number 1, It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube. Bobby, Good Rockin' Tonight, the Montrose version. Good Luck and Good Trucking Tonight by Dale Watson. Good Morning Little Schoolgirl by Muddy Waters. Pretty Good by John Prine. And Perfectly Good Guitar by John Hyatt.
Wow. Some incredible singer-songwriters on that list.
Let's see here. Another list. Tell Me Something Good by Shaka Khan and Rufus.
Good song.
You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt. That's a good song.
Yeah, I don't like that one too much. It's great song, a big hit, but I didn't really dig that one.
Number 3, It Was a Good Day. Number 2, Good Vibrations, the Marky Mark version.
Come on.
And number 1, another very good song that I consider, Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin. Zed, Good Times, Bad Times, number 1 for him, from Led Zeppelin. Only the Good Die Young, number 2. Where Have All the Good Times Gone by the Kinks, number 3. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Good Thing by Fine Young Cannibals. And number 5, It Was a Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I thought about Sinatra. Sinatra's been on a number of our lists. Man, so many great songs.
Somebody says, how about the theme music to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah, we
Does that song have a name?
I don't know. But we use it for when we would do our Good, Bad, and Ugly on Mondays. We'll get back to that when we have actual sports to talk about, like sporting events.
John on Facebook goes, Good Golly Miss Molly, Good Vibrations. Doesn't say which Good Vibrations, though.
With John, it's got to be Beach Boys, right?
Good Time Charlie Has the Blues. Johnny Be Good, although that's spelled a little differently, but it's
right.
Still good.
Yeah.
And it's Good to Be King by Tom Petty.
That's a good song, too.
Let's see. Bobby on Facebook, Good Directions by Billy Currington. Only the Good Die Young. Good Hearted Woman. Good Day for the Blues by Storyville. And Hurts So Good by Mellencamp. Let's see here. Another list.
Nobody's brought up Good Day Sunshine by the Beatles. I didn't even have that on my list.
About to.
Oh, really?
Good Lovin' Gone Bad, Bad Company. Good Riddance, Green Day. Good Thing, Fine Young Cannibals. Good Day Sunshine.
There we go. Okay.
The Beatles, number 2. And Good Lovin' by the Rascals at number 1. With honorable mentions for Good Liquor Gonna Carry Me Down.
Who sings that one?
Big Bill Brunzi?
Of course.
I don't know.
We've had Big Bill on the show, haven't we?
I'm not sure. Gimme Good Loving by Crazy Elephant. You familiar with that one?
No.
Let's see. You're No Good, the Van Halen version.
They covered Linda Ronstadt song?
I guess.
Apparently, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody says the theme for the show, Good Times. Great show. Great show. Just love watching that on WGN. Let's see here if we've got any others. I think that's all of the ones we have in here right now. Right. Hopefully I didn't skip over anybody's. But yeah, there was a lot of really good songs to choose from on this one.
No pun intended.
This would have been an easy top 10. Like I could have. There are 5 songs at least that I'm mad that I had to leave out.
Like I said yesterday, and I've said in the past, if you want to give us a topic, a suggestion for a topic, you can go ahead and text that into us, and we will probably use it. We've used others in the past, and in fact, tomorrow we're going to use one from Raider Corey. He said, we need some positive vibes. We need some happiness right now with everything that's going on. So how about songs with happy in the title? Happy, happiness, anything like that. Happy tomorrow for our 5 favorite songs.
Somebody had texted in. They said, don't forget the songs of summer as a topic, but we have done summer as a topic.
We did do summer.
This is unbelievable. So these 2 text messages came in 1 minute apart. The first one came in and said, I can't believe no one mentioned Good Love by Johnny Taylor. 1 minute later, a text from a different number comes in and says, Good Love, Johnny Taylor. So I don't know, some
unless the person has two cell phones and texted it on one on each one.
That's very very impressive. Like ESP or something going on right there. But yeah, that's
quite the coincidence.
I don't know that song. Somebody says, Let the Good Times Roll by the Cars. Yes, me and Greg both with that at number 1. Wayne comes with Good Golly Miss Molly at number 5. Hurt So Good, number 4. Only the Good Die Young, number 3. Good Girls Don't at number 2 by the Knack.
Yeah. Who do My Sharona. And I thought about that one. I had it in my top 10. Didn't make the cut to the top 5, though.
And his number 1 was on my list, and it's a very good choice. Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. Mm-hmm. That's a very, very
I
good
consider that one as well.
Somebody says, what? Love songs about Gabe? Is that what they want as a topic?
What the name Gabe has to be in the title?
Or does love songs about Gabe? Gabe, you have a lot of love songs about you?
He's on the horn.
Doing Good? Is that a song? I don't
know.
Somebody says Van Halen covered You're No Good in Van Halen 2.
Okay.
Love songs about me.
Do you have any love songs about you?
I do not think there's many. I don't know. I mean, if we were doing names, I don't know if there's many songs with the name Gabe or Gabriel.
Every time we think there's not a lot of something, there always is. So why don't you go ahead and Google it, songs about Gabe. In the meantime, we'll take a time out.
By the way, a bit of music news today. Lady Antebellum is no longer Lady Antebellum.
Just Antebellum?
They're getting rid of the Antebellum. That's the whole point.
Just Lady?
They are now Lady A. They did
Why?
not want to use the Antebellum name because of the slavery days.
Wow. How about that?
So they have changed their name from Lady Antebellum to Lady A. I had Good-Hearted Woman by Waylon Jennings in my list. This just I didn't know this, but looking at that song was inspired by Ike and Tina Turner.
Really?
It said, I was reading this. Jennings was inspired to write the song after reading an advertisement that promoted Ike and Tina Turner. And then what I love, though, he and Willie Nelson wrote the song together. It says, Jennings joined Nelson during a poker game and told him about the idea, and the singers then completed the song while Nelson's wife wrote it down.
I thought you said they completed the song while Willie Nelson drew a straight.
So, that's how good those guys are as songwriters. They're sitting there playing poker, and they just write a song while playing a poker game.
The inspiration and the stories that you would hear from all artists across the board are incredible. How they come up with the idea, when they come up with the idea, what situation they're in. It's just incredible if you've really read a lot about the stories of artists and where their idea for songs come from. All right, great list today. Thanks to all of you for sending them in. Again, tomorrow we'll do 5 favorite songs with the subject once again being happy. the word happy or happiness has to appear in the title of the song. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Hey, it's me, your cousin, from Boston. I'm on the radio doing ads for Sam Adams. Now I'll be known as the Sam Adams guy instead of the dude who fell in the quarry. Sam Adams Boston Lager is crisp and refreshing, which is why I bring a six-pack wherever I go, except the movies anymore. Sam Adams, from Boston with love. Here's the legal part. Watch how fast I can read. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Drink responsibly. Now, is that 30 seconds? Are we even close?
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of hand-cut fresh steaks, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Father's Day is coming soon, so make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Gateway Tire and Service Centers has a beautiful new state-of-the-art location at 5275 Summer Avenue. And for the entire month of June, the new location on Summer has a great Father's Day special. Buy 3 tires and get the 4th at no charge. Visit the new Gateway Tire and Service Center with 28 bays for quick service, super safe with curbside service or lounge seating 6 feet apart. Check out gatewaytireservice.com for coupons too. The new Gateway Tire and Service Center, 5275 Summer Avenue. Call Matt for details. 901-683-8335.
Hi, it's the Herd. Lowe's wants to celebrate the daddest dads of all who have been crushing DIY projects lately with Lowe's Dedications. Not dedications, dedications. Call and tell us about the DIY dad in your life. 833-619-3DAD. That's 833-619-3323. Then listen Father's Day weekend to hear your dedication live on the air. You can also check out more Lowe's tributes to Dad using the hashtag #DadBuiltThis.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
PGA Golf has resumed round 1 of the Charles Schwab Challenge going on right now at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. Justin Rose is your clubhouse leader. 7 under 63. Johnny Vegas at 6 under. He's also finished for his day. Abraham Answer, Adam Hadwin, 1 hole to play each. They are 6 under. Brian Harmon, Bryson DeChambeau, Gary Woodland, all 5 under 65s today. So they're going low as they normally do on the resumption, the first round since the stoppage for COVID-19 on the PGA Tour.
So we had a couple of folks text in some suggestions for topics. Somebody says paradise. Somebody else says tree or trees. Is there a lot of songs with trees in them? Tree in the title?
Tree grows in Brooklyn. I don't know. We'll have to take a look.
I know U2 had the album Joshua Tree.
Did they have a song called The Joshua Tree as well from the album?
I don't know on that one. Somebody did text and they said Big Bill Brunzi was an old blues guy, made the transition from acoustic blues to the electric blues that would spread the popularity and influence many a young rock and roller like the Stones, Yardbirds, and Zeppelin.
Wow. He was like a trailblazer like Robert Johnson.
Big Bill Brunzi is just an amazing name. I would like to be known as Big Bill Brunzi. Brunzi is just a great last name. Bill Brunzi. I picture Bill Brunzi just being a big old dude too. So I think Big Bill Brunzi works.
He sounds like that character on Saturday Night Live where they're sitting around the bar and they're drinking to the guy. He's supposed to be like Paul Bunyan, like mythical, and I forget what his name is. But that's when I heard that. That's the first thing I thought of.
Somebody asked, when is Tiger going to play golf next? I don't know that he has announced anything yet.
He hasn't announced.
I would assume there's a good chance he'll play at the Memorial, but I don't know for sure. I don't think he's announced that yet.
Is the Memorial next week? No, right?
Well, no, there's another. Next week was supposed to be the the Memorial is in July. It's July. It's, I think, 2 weeks before here?
Oh, is it? That's right, because that's going to be the first tournament with fans allowed.
They've got they're actually playing back-to-back weeks at the same golf course. They're playing the week before. They're filling the spot taken by that was the John Deere that got canceled. They're going to play that at where's the Memorial played? I can't think of the name of the course now.
It's in Muirfield Village.
Yeah, so they're going to play the week before at Muirfield Village, then the Memorial the following week.
Okay, but do you know what's next week off the top of your head? Are they staying in Texas?
It is. I could look here. It is
the one in Dallas.
The RBC Heritage is next week. At Harbortown.
Oh gosh, they go all the way to Harbortown. Okay.
And then you've got the Travelers. Then you've got the Rocket Mortgage, and then the Memorial. Well, they're on this schedule, but I think they've made it official that they're playing that week before the Memorial, but playing at Muirfield Village to fill that spot that was vacated by the John Deere.
But will they have fans at that one, or just the actual Memorial?
I don't know. I don't know for sure if they've determined that or not. But I would guess the Memorial would probably be Tiger's first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't think he's made anything official as far as that is concerned. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
The basketball tournament, that's that winner-take-all affair. They played for $2 million last year. They're going to play for $1 million this year, but it's coming back, and it will be the first live televised basketball competition in America since the coronavirus pandemic. Features former college stars and overseas standouts. The TBT will be held at Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. 24 teams involved. The defending champions, the Carmen's Crew team, a group of former Ohio State players. They beat the Golden Eagles, that Marquette alumni team, last year in the 2019 championship game. But again, it's coming back. It will be televised on ESPN, and 24 teams. I wonder if Memphis will put together another team, if they're involved in this thing. Every year, I think they've been in it. They haven't really fared well in the tournament, but I'm curious to see. Last year, they put the team together, and they added Darius Washington, who they had lost to the previous year, a team that he played on. But I'm not sure if Memphis will field a team. I have not heard from Jeremy Hunt or any of the guys. Will Coleman. I'll have to check and see if Memphis plans on playing in this thing.
So a women's basketball player transferring from Liberty University is not normally that big of a deal, but Asia Todd and her reason for transferring are a bit newsworthy. Todd, who was a freshman last year, posted a video about transferring, and her reason says, due to the racial insensitivity shown within the leadership and culture, it simply does not align with my moral compass or personal convictions. Therefore, I had to do what I felt was the best within my heart and stand up for what is right. Said it had nothing to do with the basketball or the program at all. But this is in response to Jerry Falwell Jr., the university president, who had tweeted out a racially insensitive image. And so she says, not going to play there anymore.
Well, good for her. I mean, you have to stand up for what you think is right. And if it means you have to leave a place that I'm sure you were very comfortable playing basketball for and go somewhere else, I mean, that's her prerogative. And I say good for her.
Yeah, I don't think, at least to this point, any other athletes from there have transferred. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't think something's right and you don't like representing that university, by all means, that's great for her.
A North Carolina judge rules in favor of the North Carolina Department of Health, granting a temporary restraining order to close Ace Speedway. Another hearing is set for June 19th. You may recall, Ace Speedway was the speedway where they had thousands of fans for a race. They weren't allowed to do so, but they did because basically they were saying if you can protest and have thousands of people together, then why can't we do that for the racetrack? And now they've been closed, at least temporarily, while it goes to another judge and his or her ruling on June 19th. So, yeah, this one has gone beyond just the pandemic. This is a political statement that they were trying to make, in my opinion, and now they've been shut down for at least temporarily. Want to thank Steve Kyler for joining us on the program today, Mike Claiborne and Aaron Torres. Again, if you missed any of our interviews, go back to the website, sports56whbq.com. You can listen to our Middays podcast, 3 different hours, all separated. And many of the interviews that you hear throughout the day are also put up as featured audio, so you can always check it out if you missed it. Tomorrow, among our guests, Brad Logan, who has a new podcast that is out this week. Our friend covers Mississippi sports. We'll have Brad on the show. We'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. And as I mentioned, 5 favorite songs. The category will be songs with the word happy in the title. Stay tuned. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. Speaking of happy, for Eli Savoie and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
If you ask old Will to say, here's the deal, friends, it's all gone.